another team from across the Hudson, the St. Peter's Peacocks. The Rams are looking to bounce back after a hard-fought loss Friday night against NJIT. Fordham will look to Alexis Black to lead the offense after her career-high 30-point performance. The Peacocks come off their best season yet under head coach Jennifer Leadham last year. After falling in their season opener in a blowout last week at Seton Hall, St. Peter's also wants to come back stronger. They also look to snap a 5-game losing streak to the Rams. It's the Fordham Rams versus the St. Peter's Peacocks inside the Rose Hill Gym. It's Fordham women's basketball, and it's coming up next on WFUV Sports.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, inside of the Rose Hill Gym here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. The Rose Hill campus, Tucker Austin and Brendan Shorey with you as we await the start of the Fordham Rams versus the St. Peter's Peacocks. And Brendan, you've worked some baseball for us, you've worked some softball for us, you've also done some football for us this year and with me. But how excited are you to be here in the Rose Hill Gym for your first time on the call for Fordham basketball?
Yeah, Tucker, to put it in baseball terms, it feels like I'm hitting for the cycle here. I'm getting that fourth one down. It's a really exciting feeling. I'm knocking out, finally getting to do some basketball. So excited for this game today.
Yeah, and Fordham has a really exciting women's basketball team this year. You're going to love to watch them. Before we get into this game, though, Brendan and I had a chance pregame to catch up with Fordham women's basketball head coach Bridgette Mitchell. Take a listen to that right now. Tucker Austin and Brendan Shorey here with Fordham women's basketball head coach Bridgette Mitchell ahead of Fordham's game at home against the St. Peter's Peacocks. And, Coach, I want to start off talking about Alexis Black. How promising was it to see her explode offensively against NJIT despite taking a loss?
Yeah, I think that Lex has so much scoring power, and for her to be able to do that against, NJIT was really good for her teammates to see, good for her confidence, and we joked about it was her career high, but we were joking. I was like, I want that and the win next time, right? And so she's one of those players that can take it, and she runs with it, hence her being one of our captains, and she takes pride in her ability to score, but also to defend, and so we just got to be able to put it together. But again, for her to have a scoring game like she did, she was in foul trouble early, and to break out like the way that she did is just something to be proud of and continue to do.
Today against St. Peter's, a team who turned the ball over 24 times last game, how important is it to take advantage of that?
Yeah, it's very important. We're going to start out pressing them right from the beginning, and it's something that we're going to try to up the pace and tempo of the game to get them to go out of control a bit. And then on the other hand, we too have to take care of the ball. We've been turning it over quite a bit ourselves, and so that's something that we're going to up from the start of the game.
And you guys went 12 for 13 as a team from the free throw line against NJIT. How happy were you to see that your team is that dialed at the stripe this early in the season?
Yeah, definitely. To be able to do that early on, that's one of our Achilles heels, right? Like we struggle with the free throw line, and so happy to see that. I also was really happy with our ball screen attacks and how confident we were in the decision making that we did coming off the ball screen. So I'm looking to build on both of those things tonight.
A team today, St. Peter's, who takes a lot of threes, just how important is it to crash the glass and make sure that you can limit those offensive rebounds and second chance points?
Crucial. We have to make sure that we box out. Their players are gritty. They're going to go for the ball, loose balls, 50-50 plays, and so we talked at great length about our ability to win the 50-50 plays.
And Brendan mentioned how many threes that they shoot. They put up 28 in their first game against Seton Hall, but only 4 of them went down. Kind of volume like that, the shots do eventually fall. So was there kind of a focus on guarding the perimeter a little bit more tonight?
To be honest with you, we just focused on being better than we were against NJIT. NJIT got a ton of threes up. They hit about 10 of them. And so our focus is to be better than we were last game. And if we do that, we'll be able to control St. Peter's in their three-point attempts.
Fordham has won the last 5 against St. Peter's. Does that add any fuel to kind of go and get the 6th in a row?
Yeah, definitely, right? It's one of those rivalries there over the bridge. The same with Manhattan and other schools in this area. We're playing Hofstra, we're playing Stony Brook, right? So there's some excitement there and pride in being from the Bronx and playing and representing Fordham.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Good luck tonight. Fordham women's basketball versus the St. Peter's Peacocks coming up next on WFUV Sports. quite the invigorating rendition of our national anthem, Brendan. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go after that one. Got just about 4 minutes before tip-off here between the Fordham Rams and the St. Peter's Peacocks. And as we await the starting lineups for both teams, we have at least who's going to be going for the Fordham Rams today so far, Brendan. Coach B said that she wanted to keep a defensive mindset in terms of her starting lineup today. She's going to be running Mason Hill, Anastasia Veljevic, Alexis Black, of course, who had her career high in points last time out against NJIT, and then Kayla Berry and Emma Wilson-Saltos to round things out. And Brendan, I think, of course, the standout of that starting lineup has to be the person who I already mentioned, Alexis Black.
Yeah, career high 30 points last game, and you talked about it with Coach B before the game, just how good she was offensively last game. And she just was. She took over. She was able to score at will. And we saw during that game, they kind of struggled a little bit without her in there. But when she was in there, this Fordham team was able to score the ball so easily.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to last year with Taylor Donaldson on this Fordham team. She was really the catalyst of the Fordham offense and where they found most of their scoring. It tended to be that if Taylor Donaldson wasn't hot, the whole team would run cold. But that's not really the same case with this Fordham squad, because Alexis Black scored 30, but the rest of the team couldn't come up around her. They wound up taking a loss against NJIT, but the big difference you see with this Fordham team this year is that they spread the ball around a lot, and they look for scoring from a lot of different places.
Yeah, they like to look for a lot of different places for scoring. You mentioned it, Tucker. Last game, it happened that Alexis Black was the one who was out there giving them 30, but you look back at that first game, this Fordham team, it wasn't someone going out there and dropping 30. It was a well-rounded scoring effort from everyone.
And as we await the starting lineup for St. Peter's and for the start of this game, we're going to send it to a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Carino.
I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Tucker Austin.
Your Fordham football broadcasters for the 2025 season.
Join us every Saturday on 90.7 FM and on WFUV Sports YouTube page for live radio broadcasts of every Fordham football game as the Rams continue their quest to their first Patriot League title since 2014.
With a new look offense and veteran leaders on defense, you won't want to miss this. Fordham football, every weekend on WFUV Sports. We welcome you back inside the Rose Hill Gym, just about ready for tip-off here between the Fordham women's basketball Rams and the St. Peter's Peacocks. Fordham enters 1-1 on the young season. They defeated Adelphi at home on November 3rd, then lost to NJIT on Friday night, November 7th. St. Peter's enters at 0-1. They lost their season opener on November 4th at Seton Hall, and it was not close, Brendan. That game, 88-39, a veritable blowout against the Seton Hall Pirates.
Yeah, blowout, and it just seemed like this team struggled a bit on offense, whether it was the volume shooting of threes, but not a whole lot of them falling for them, or the 24 turnovers. Seemed like they struggled a bit against the Seton Hall team, where they look today to bounce back from that big loss, Tucker.
Yeah, they took a lot of threes as well, but things did not fall for them. The tip is up, and it's won by Wilson-Saltos straight to Mason Hill. She goes up with the right hand, and it's quickly 2-0 Fordham Rams here in the first quarter, just 9:50 to go. Inbound, and Fordham already running the press. Nearly a steal there, but Peters breaks out. Up the floor with it is Karis Roy, the center. She gets it to her left for a three. That's no good. Rebounded by Veljevic. The three by Danae Rippey. Quick start to this one as Alexis Black has it for the Rams on the right wing. Now it's over to Kayla Berry and back to Black. Black sends it to the right for Mason Hill. Hill for Kayla Berry, trying to get to that low block on the right side. She spins into the paint, puts up the layup, But there's a travel called on Kayla Berry. She was looking for a foul that time, but the score remains 2-0 Rams.
And Tucker's 6-footer for St. Peter's, Karis Roy, sitting down in that paint, waiting to try and double down low.
Fordham running that press again, but Peters breaks out. Layla Grant on the ball for the Peacocks. Grant on the right wing sends it up top for Luella Alana, one of the captains of this team out of Quebec. Alana gets it to the left side for Zdenkova. Zdenkova gets it down to Roy. Karis Roy in the paint working on Wilson Salto. She picks up the dribble and now gets it back out to the left wing. 4 seconds on the shot clock here. Top of the key for Alana. Alana trying to work on Mason Hill. She gets the shot up, but it's no good, and Fordham with the rebound just in time for the shot clock that time. Black has it for the Rams, goes to the left hand, tries to go up with her right through the paint, but that's no good. Rebound St. Peter's. Here come the Peacocks now. Luella Alana pulls up for three. That's no good. Off the front rim, rebounded by Kayla Berry. 8:28 to go in the first quarter. Alexis Black has it in transition for the Rams. Tries to get it inside for Wilson Saltos, but that's going to be stolen away by Danae Rippey. Quickly down to the other side of the floor for Karis Roy under the basket, and she's fouled by Kayla Berry on the shot, so Roy will go to the line for two.
Yeah, Tucker, we already see it early in this game, a very fast pace. This Fordham defense pressing full court. Coach Bridgette Mitchell told us she was going to do that before the game.
Yeah, she said that this season she wants to employ more of a purposeful press full court and at very specific strategic times. But so far it's been all of the first quarter that Fordham's been pressing as Karis Roy knocks down the first of two free throws. Roy, a 6'3" junior out of Cowbridge, Wales. She spent time on the U18 national teams for both Wales and Great Britain. She makes both of her free throws, and we're tied at 2, 8:17 to go in the first quarter. Black has it for the Rams, bringing it across the Script Fordham logo, now to Kayla Berry, and then Mason Hill. Now it's Wilson Saltos at the left elbow. She gets it down low for Kayla Berry, but her layup is no good. Fight for the rebound under the basket, and it's out of bounds off St. Peter's. Fordham retains possession.
Good movement there from Fordham offensively. Kayla Berry sneaking in and gets a good look under the basket, just not able to get it to go.
Fordham, though, does get a fresh shot clock here. 20 seconds on it, 8:05 to go in the first quarter, and we're knotted at 2. Fordham in all whites, St. Peter's in all navy uniforms. Fordham working right to left, and St. Peter's left to right. Inbound to Hill, and now it's Wilson. Now it's Alexa Black. Now back up for Mason Hill. Her three's no good off left iron. Black with the rebound. Works into the paint. Her floater's no good. Rebounded by Wilson Saltos, who goes up for the layup, but it's no good. No fouls on any of those shots. And now St. Peter's brings it the other way. Nikola Zdenkova on it. Now they get it to Rippey. Danae Rippey works into the right block, and she's fouled. Her layup's no good over the rim, but she takes the contact from Wilson Saltos, and she will go to the line.
Great move there from Rippey. Just a crossover, but gets past her guy, gets up with the right-handed lay, just fouled when she goes up. She'll go to the line for 2.
Danae Rippey, 5'10", sophomore forward from Brooklyn, New York. Relatively local for these two teams, both New York metro area squads. Rippey was a 64% shooter from the stripe last season, and she misses the first of 2 here. She played 30 minutes and scored 16 points. Both of those led the team for Peters in their first game against Seton Hall. She makes the second of 2 to give St. Peter's a 3-2 lead. 7:36 to go in the first quarter. Karen Easley now in the game for the Rams, and Lucretia Edwards. As Edwards throws up a 3, that's no good. Rebound St. Peter's. Here comes Rippey the other way. Trying to go through Easley, but Easley gets the steal, and Lucretia Edwards has it now for the Rams, and they go in transition. Karen Easley on the right wing. Screened by Ugne Sertauteta, and now Lucretia Edwards on the left wing. Back over to Easley. Easley gets it to Ornella Nyankin, and then there's a stoppage on the floor here. Looks to be a foul on the floor, and Fordham will take it underneath the basket.
You mentioned Easley in the game, and at the last stoppage, Fordham went with an entire platoon sub, switching out the 5 on the floor for 5 new girls.
Something we've seen before from Bridgette Mitchell in this season. It's Nyankin with a left elbow 2, but that's no good. Rebound St. Peter's, and a foul committed by London Lilly, who's also now checked into the game.
Yeah, that fell right off the rebound, not giving up any fast breaks here. And again, you see a full press from the Fordham Rams.
Rams playing tough defense early against St. Peter's, but still trail by 1. Vega works inside for St. Peter's. Now they get it to the right wing. Move it inside for Karis Roy. And Layla Grant. Foul called that time. Layla Grant is going to go to the line.
Good movement there from St. Peter's. Just a give and go. Down to Roy, down the low block. Gives it right back on the bounce pass to Grant. She gets right up to the basket. Gets fouled. 2 shots now from the line.
First of 2 goes for Layla Grant. Grant, the grad student guard, stands at 5'8" for St. Peter's. She makes both and was an 88% shooter from the line last year. No doubt that she would make both there. 5-2 St. Peter's. 6:40 to go in the first quarter as London Lilly works into the paint and takes the contact, bouncing off of bodies in the paint, trying to get that ball up. And now Fordham will go to the stripe for the first time tonight.
Ugne Sertoteta was one of those bodies she bounced off of Tucker, bouncing into even her own players down low on that one.
Lilly, her first is no good, rattles out. The freshman forward, one of the new faces for the Rams out of Oxon Hill, Maryland. She played just 4 minutes against NJIT, but did manage a score for 2 points as she makes the second of 2 and cuts the Peacock lead 2-2. So now it's 5-3 St. Peter's over Fordham with 6:35 to go in the first quarter. Rippey and Vega go back and forth, and now Layla Grant has it. Left wing 3, that's no good, off front rim, rebounded by Ornella Nyankin. Easily trying to push the pace, gets it down the floor for Lucretia Edwards. She finds Sertoteta, wide open look for Lilly. Her 3 is no good, rebound Sertoteta. Ugne gets it to Nyankin, now back to Ugne on the right block. Her 2 is no good, but she's fouled. And Sertoteta now will go to the line for the Rams with a chance to tie this game at 5.
Yeah, big matchup down low there on that one, Tucker. Ugne, 6'1". Nikola Zedenkova, only 5'9". The girl that was on Sertoteta down low, she's able to use that size, draw the foul.
And I was shocked that London Lilly's 3 was set up by Ugne Sertoteta. She makes the first of 2. Ugne found London Lilly in the corner with a no-look feed, and there was nobody home in the left corner for St. Peter's. Now Ugne's second is good. Sertoteta makes both her free throws, and we're tied once again. It's 5-all with 6:08 to go in the first quarter. Full court press again from the Rams, but a little bit lighter. And the Peacocks break out of it. Luella Alana finds Jayshlyn Vega, left wing 3, no good. Rebounded Ugne Sertoteta. Ugne with that size advantage against most of this St. Peter's team. Easily in transition, works into the paint. Now to the right wing. Easily cross court for Lucretia Edwards. Edwards fakes the pass and now picks up the dribble, throws it back cross court for Easley. Easley asks for a screen from Sertoteta. Now she pulls the right wing 3. That's good. Karen Easley with the 3 to make it 8-5 Fordham with 5:28 to go in the first. Easley guarding Luella Alana on the press. And they get it forward for Karis Roy. Now Peters will set up. Corner 3 for Jayshlyn Vega is no good. Rebounded Lucretia Edwards, and there's a foul on the floor. Believe that one's going to come against Layla Grant of St. Peter's. And so Fordham with a 3-point lead now with the ball to try and make it a bit more.
And Tucker, that's back-to-back open looks for Vega from 3. She missed both of them, fortunately, for Fordham's side, but we see that far side corner has been open whenever this St. Peter's team has brought the ball across half court.
Precious Somachola checks in for the Fordham Rams. She inbounds it to Alexis Black, who will start the offense for Fordham. Screen set by Wilson Saltos on the left wing. Now they fire it over to Anastasia Veljovic. Omashola top of the key. Now Alexis Black tries to get it down low for Wilson Saltos, almost poked away by Roy. Saltos tries to work into the paint, loose ball. Now gets it back out. 9 seconds on the shot clock for Alexis Black. The top of the key to the left. Moves around to Wilson Saltos' screen. Now she stops at the right elbow, into the corner. A three for Mason Hill, that's no good. Rebounded Omashola, she goes back up strong, but it's blocked by Roy. Ball goes out of bounds off of Roy, and it'll be Fordham's ball, but excellent defensive possession that time from St. Peter's.
Great job by Veljovic on that possession. She's able to get a hand up on that offensive rebound, poke it up, and let another Fordham Ram recover that.
And with 4:36 to go in the first quarter, we're going to step away for our first media timeout. 8-5 is the lead for the Fordham Rams, and you're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
And welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym here on the Rose Hill campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker Austin and Brendan Shorey with you. And with 4:36 to go in the first quarter of play, it's been a lot of transitions and a lot of solid defense so far. Not a lot of scoring, but Fordham still with the lead thanks to a Karen Easley three.
Yeah, that defensive kind of mindset, it's been really set in, and Coach Bridgette Mitchell told us earlier they want this game to be very defensive, very fast paced, try and take advantage of St. Peter's, their turnovers from last game, take advantage of that, and that's what we've seen. We've seen a very fast paced, very high pressed team from both the Fordham Rams and St. Peter's. When that ball gets in the half court, they've been very on the ball, but as you mentioned, Tucker, that does lead to a lower scoring game.
Yeah, and St. Peter's clearly came in with a plan to deal with the press from this Fordham team. They've been doing a solid job breaking out of their own half of the court. But then when it comes down to trying to score the basketball on Fordham's end, Fordham has done a good job limiting the good looks, and I think Fordham's size advantage definitely has a role to play in that.
Yeah, Fordham's size advantage definitely does help, especially down low. Whenever you get this St. Peter's team, when they get into their half-court sets, that's when that size advantage really does come into play. The way we've seen them get open looks is getting a look quick off of getting it across the half-court. We've seen Vega with a couple of open looks from three as soon as that ball gets across the half-court. So that's just something to watch for the rest of this game.
The Peacocks are 0 for 6 from the floor. But Brendan, they're also 0 for 6 from 3. All 6 of the St. Peter's shots have been from three-point land, and that's very much reminiscent of their first game that they played of the season against Seton Hall. Most of the shots they took against the Pirates were three-pointers, and so far in their first, all of their shots have been threes.
Yeah, obviously they have a plan coming into this year. They want to maximize the amount of threes they take, just with the mindset that obviously not all of them are going to fall, but if you get some to start falling, you can get away from some of these teams, and so that's what we've seen them try and get to today. Unfortunately for them, we just haven't seen one fall yet.
It's a strategy that has become much more familiar to the basketball world. Live by the three and die by the three, and St. Peter's certainly does so. As Fordham with possession, they'll inbound it. Looking for options is Alexis Black, and she fires it up top for Mason Hill, and Fordham will begin this offensive possession. Alexis Black drives baseline and now goes to the right corner for Veljovic. Veljovic up top for Hill. Hill for Wilson Saltos on the right block. Goes up with the left hand, but that's no good. Tried the reverse, but couldn't get it. And now St. Peter's is going to try and push the pace the other way. Danae Rippey gets it to the right side for Jada Mills, who's blocked by Wilson Saltos at the right block. And now a lead pass from Alexis Black all the way down court for Precious Omashola. Her two is good, and Fordham leads 10-5 with 4 minutes to go in the first.
Great vision there from Black. Finds Omashola right under the basket, wide open.
Quick corner three, the other end, for Jada Mills. That's no good off the far side of the rim, rebounded by Mason Hill. Alexis Black has it for the Rams on the right wing. Finds Mason Hill top of the key. Now to the left side for Precious Omashola. Omashola back to Hill. Hill works around an Omashola's screen and then gets it to Alexis Black again. Black calls Wilson Saltos forward for a screen and now gets it to Wilson Saltos. Drives to the right block. But they called a charge, I believe, on the floor against Wilson Saltos going up for the basket. And St. Peter's already in the bonus here with 3:30 to go in the first.
Yeah, despite the foul, Tucker, Alexis Black yet again showing off her vision. The pick and roll, she jumps, looks out to the wing, and then hits a no-look pass down to Wilson Saltos.
The 5th team foul for the Fordham Rams means if they foul St. Peter's again, they will go to the line in this quarter. In the right corner, it's another look from 3 for St. Peter's, but that's no good off the front rim. That time it was Janine Ayash, but the rebound and the putback is good. Danae Rippey going to the line again. And it's 10-7 Fordham with 3:16 to go. It could be 10-8.
Really tough bucket there from Rippey. Goes up through contact. Omashola is all over her, but she still gets it to fall and gets a chance to add to it.
And Danae Rippey showing plenty of emotion on the floor after that putback through contact. Her free throw is good. Make that the 3-point play, and it is a 10-8 lead now for the Rams. Veljovic has it on the right wing for Fordham. Now Alexis Black goes cross court for Mason Hill. Back up top for Black. Standing on the top of the script F. Now dribbles to the right. Moves it to the elbow for Omashola. Then to Wilson Saltos, but there's a foul on the floor. I believe that one's against Danae Rippey. Wilson Saltos draws the foul, and it's the 5th team foul of the quarter for the Peacocks as well.
Yeah, Tucker, that's a smart foul right there. Wilson Saltos had position on Rippey. She was down low. She would have had a wide open layup if she catches that one cleanly.
And so Wilson Saltos will take a pair of free throws here. Her first is no good. Wilson Saltos played 23 minutes against NJIT, scored 11 points on 5 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. She misses, off the front of the rim, the second of 2, but I believe they're going to call a lane violation here against Janine Ayash. And so Wilson Saltos will get a second chance at that second shot.
Yeah, unfortunate break there for St. Peter's on that one, Tucker.
Yeah, Ayash couldn't really believe it. She was looking at the referee asking, what did I do? But she left a little bit early after the shot, and it seems like the referees are going to confer on this one as both teams head to their respective sidelines to get a word in with their head coaches.
Yeah, and that was the referee on the close side, Tucker, down to our left, to the left of the free throw shooter, Wilson Saltos, who called that one.
Looks like they're still trying to figure out if it was a lane violation or if they're just going to move on, but both teams still in huddles on their sidelines. Looking at St. Peter's, they still have they've almost only taken 3-pointers. That the field goal, the one field goal that came from Danae Rippey under the basket is right now their only non-3-point shot in this game.
That's crazy, Tucker, when a team shoots not just that many threes, but pretty much every shot as a 3. It's something, you see the 3-ball becoming a lot more popular in today's basketball world, like you mentioned earlier, but this popular is something that I haven't seen in a long time.
No, this has shades of Davidson basketball with Steph Curry written all over it, as there's now 2 referees on the opposite side of the court at the scorer's table trying to square some things with those scoring the game so far, as both teams now return to the paint on the opposite side of the floor. Wilson Saltos at the free throw line. She's going to take her second shot on a reshot after the lane violation. Wilson Saltos' shot is no good off the front of the rim. It seems like they're giving her both shots again. So Second shot from Wilson Saltos is good. That makes me think that St. Peter's actually called for a foul on the second shot. It wasn't a lane violation, but it was a foul that sent Wilson Saltos back to the line again for 2 more. So through 4 free throws, she goes 1 for 4, and it's an 11-8 lead for the Rams. St. Peter's on the other end. It's Karis Roy, top of the key. Fakes the handoff play, tries to get it to Denia Rippey. It's tipped by Wilson Saltos and out of bounds. And so it'll be St. Peter's ball still with a 14-second shot clock.
Yeah, very tight defense on that possession right there, Tucker. Every Fordham Rams stuck on their person.
Anastasia Veljovic guards the inbound for the Rams. It's a successful inbound for St. Peter's, but guarded right in front of us by Mason Hill was Luella Alana. Denia Rippey loses the dribble at the left elbow. Now gets it to Karis Roy inside, and the layup is too easy. Karis Roy at 6'3", gets the 2 to go, and it's 11-10 Rams.
A great no-look pass there on that one too, Tucker.
Alexis Black, right wing, as Fordham sends 5 players up to the scorer's table to check in at the next stoppage. Alexis Black, right wing 3 is no good. It's a little strong. And last touched by a Fordham Ram, so it's out of bounds, and it's going to be a full switch for Fordham. Wilson Saltos off, Mason Hill off, Veljovic off, Alexis Black off, and Precious Omashola also off. Ugne Sertau Teta is in, Ornella Nyankin in, Lucretia Edwards, London Lilly, and Karen Easley round out the new rotation. St. Peter's breaks the press with just over 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 11-10 is the lead for Fordham. In the left corner, now top of the key for Layla Grant. Now it's Luella Alana. She gets it into the right block for Denia Rippey. Denia Rippey goes up with the right hand, and she's fouled by London Lilly, so more free throws for Rippey here with a chance to give St. Peter's the lead.
Yeah, St. Peter's just giving Rippey a chance to work one-on-one on Lilly there. She does a good move, spins out of the post, tries to get the layup to go. Doesn't go, but she draws the foul.
And so Rippey at the line for 2. Her first is good, and that ties the game at 11 with 1:50 to go in the first quarter. St. Peter's 7 for 8 in the early going from the line. Meanwhile, Fordham is 4 for 8 from the stripe as Rippey makes both. The second one spins home, and it's 12-11 St. Peter's with 1:48 to go in the first. Alexis Black on the right wing for the Rams. Now Karen Easley. Easley top of the key for Nyankin. Now back to Easley on the left side. Tries to work it inside for Ugne. Sertau Teta outside for Alexis Black. Black to the right elbow. Lucretia Edwards, right wing, wide open 3. That's no good. Off the back of the rim. And rebounded by St. Peter's. It's Rippey with it. Rippey across the timeline, guarded closely by Easley. Now Easley works up top to Jayshlyn Vega. Vega to Rippey. Rippey finds Karis Roy. Roy handoff for Grant. Layla Grant. Almost a loose ball. Karen Easley working on her. And now it's back to Vega. Vega near the timeline. Easley with some great defense this possession. And it's a travel by Vega, guarded by Karen Easley. What a defensive effort by the freshman for the Fordham Rams. It's Fordham's ball with 1:04 to go in the first.
Easley was everywhere on that possession, Tucker. It seemed like she was just sitting at the top of the key, guarding whoever it was up there with the ball, and she forces the travel on Vega.
Her matchup was the ball, Brendan. Alexis Black, top of the key for the Rams, under a minute to play in the first quarter. Ugne Sertau Teta on the right elbow. She's going to move into the paint. Now Lucretia Edwards on the left corner. And it's a travel by Alexis Black. Didn't quite put the ball down before making her move. She was trying to get it to Lucretia Edwards, but the travel comes out. And so it's St. Peter's ball.
Yeah, we saw in that possession, Tucker, some very good ball movement from this Fordham offense. They're trying to get the St. Peter's defense moving side to side, see if they can't open up a look from 3 or even get a look down by the basket.
12-11 is the lead for St. Peter's. 46 seconds to go in the first quarter. And a full court press from just Karen Easley as she's still working against Jayshlyn Vega. Double team on Vega. Nice work by Easley and Nyankin to force the jump ball there. But possession pointing towards St. Peter's.
Yeah, and a great job by Easley fighting through the screen on that one, staying with Vega, doubling and tying her up.
Vega works around a screen, and that ball's stolen away by Karen Easley on the pass, but she can't quite get back to it. Karen Easley was so ready to get going the other way, she ran slightly faster than the basketball was moving after she tipped that pass away. But boy, how about the energy here in this first quarter from the freshman Karen Easley, who's talking to her coach, Bridgette Mitchell, right now.
And her matchup still is the ball, Tucker. She goes and brings a double there on Vega. She jumps, intercepts the pass. You mentioned it, just runs a little too fast for that ball and ends up losing it.
Unfortunately, she commits a foul trying to get back to it. That sends Danae Rippey to the free throw line. Since St. Peter's has been in the bonus for about the last 3 minutes. Rippey's first misses off the front of the rim and to the left. And so the lead stays at 1 for St. Peter's. 26.7 seconds to go here in the first quarter. And Rippey's second free throw is no good. She misses both. Lucky break there for Karen Easley and the Rams. 1 point game, 20 seconds to go. Shot clock is turned off. Game clock now reads 16 seconds. Alexis Black is slowing things down on the left wing. She's calling a play now. 10 seconds to go. Alexis Black works around a screen. Now gets it to Niankin. Niankin, corner for Lucretia Edwards. Her three is good. Lucretia Edwards from the right corner as time expires in the first quarter. Fordham takes the lead 14-12. And what a first quarter. What an energetic first quarter. A high-paced first quarter from both of these teams. But Fordham winds out on top after 10 minutes.
Yeah, Fordham was trailing going into that possession. 12-11, but the huge three going into the break, they find a Fordham Rams sitting in the corner wide open, and they knock it down.
They've had a lot of those open looks in the corner when they move the ball really well. But as we await the start of the second quarter, we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studio for the one-on-one scoreboard update. Here is Sam Jean-Grande.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Here in the Rose Hill Gym, the Rams are up 14-12 against the St. Peter's Peacocks with a massive 3 to end the quarter. The Rams have a 5-game winning streak against this Jersey City side, trying to make it 6 with this game. Upstate in our lovely state of New York in Hamilton, Colgate take on New Hampshire, the Raiders 26-17 against the Wildcats. While over in Rhode Island, it's 27-19 versus Emmanuel College. And down in Virginia, George Mason will play Florida A&M at 7 p.m. Tomorrow in our capital city, George Washington is playing Howard at 6 p.m. And at the same time in Pennsylvania, Lehigh play LaSalle. On the men's side tomorrow, we will see Wagner Seahawks come here to the Rose Hill Gym to take on the men's Rams. William & Mary will play the Richmond Spiders in the Old Dominion, while up in Rhode Island they will play Stonehill. The Knicks beat the Nets 134-98 at MSG in the Battle of the Boroughs, with the Knicks' Nets match being at home once more against the Grizzlies. Thursdays will have the Jets play in Foxborough, home of the New England Patriots, Drake May having the season of his life for the Pats, where you can't say the same for the Jets. While the Packers go to the Meadowlands to face the Giants at 1 p.m. on Sunday. I'm Sam Jean-Grande with the one-on-one scoreboard. Back to you all in the Rose Hill Gym. Let's go Rams!
And we welcome you back inside the Rose Hill Gym. Thanks very much to Sam Jean-Grande for that one-on-one scoreboard update. You'll hear him again at the half and then at the end of the third quarter. But Brendan, after 10 minutes of play, well, I told you you'd be excited about this team, and there's been a lot to watch so far in this game. A lot of players scoring the basketball. Fordham really spreading things around and trying to find points from as many players as they can. Not as successful from the free throw line as they would like to be, and only hitting 2 threes, but 2 threes at the absolute most opportune moments.
Yeah, and Tucker, you mentioned spreading the ball around. Alexis Black hasn't scored yet. She's still sitting with 0 points after dropping a career-high 30 points last game. So none of those points came from their leading scorer. They're all coming from the other players out there on the court. Everyone is contributing so far.
Yeah, Fordham with just 3 of their 14 coming from their starters. The rest of the points coming from the bench. And it's something that we saw in the earlier games in this season. Against NJIT, they got a lot of scoring off their bench. Against Adelphi, they got nearly half their points off their bench. And so we're ready to go here in the second quarter. Inbound to Karen Easley. Easley, top of the key, works it inside for Sertau Teita. Sertau Teita tries to go up for the layup, but she is fouled. Karis Roy was not happy about that foul call, but clear contact under the basket.
And Tucker, St. Peter's sitting in a zone now on defense, a 2-3 zone. 2 guys out at the top, 3 down at the base, looking to see if they can try and force Fordham into some tough looks.
And Sertau Teita stands at the line now, trying to extend Fordham's lead here early in the second. First free throw's no good, off the back rim and out to the right. Sertau Teita was an 84% free throw shooter at Providence last season. Second of 2 is also no good, 0 for 2 at the line for Ugne Sertau Teita. 14-12, Fordham leads the St. Peter's Peacocks. 9:40 to go, corner 3 for St. Peter's, and that one goes. Nikola Zdenkova with the 3 to give St. Peter's the lead, 15-14, but Fordham trying to respond quickly the other way. Easley, right wing. Tries to get it into the paint for Sertau Teita, but it gets away from her, and it's stolen by Danae Rippey. Rippey tries to go over the top, but Karen Easley with the steal. Easley throws it down the court, and that one's stolen by Rippey. Both teams careless with the ball, trying to get it moving in transition. As now Zdenkova has it on the right wing. Now Rippey, top of the key. She finds Luella Alana. Alana to Roy. Roy, top of the key, working on Sertau Teita. Roy gets it to Rippey. Rippey, with the hesitation over the top of Sertau Teita, hits the too small celebration, and it's 17-14 St. Peter's.
Yeah, you mentioned the too small celebration as she ran back down the court, Tucker.
A bit ironic against the 6'1 Ugne, but either way, Alexis Black pulls the left wing 3 from long range. That's no good. Rebounded by Layla Grant. St. Peter's moving it the other way. A minute and a half gone now here in the second quarter. St. Peter's leads 17-14. Easley with some tough defense at the top of the key. Gets it over to Rippey. Into the corner for Layla Grant. Corner 3 from the left side is no good. Rebounded Sertau Teita. Alexis Black has it across the timeline. Left wing for Black. She's guarded by Alana. Black slows things down and finds Karen Easley. Now Lucretia Edwards on the right wing. Gets it back inside for Black. Black was working towards the right block, but I believe they called a travel against Alexis Black. That's another travel against Black, at least her second of the ball game, and another turnover by the Rams.
And on this dead ball right now, Fordham just subbed in 3 players. It's the first time they haven't done a full platoon sub this game. They're opting not to go with 5 new ones, but instead keep 2 of the people still in the game.
Yeah, Alexis Black stays in there, as does Karen Easley, and deservedly so for the freshman. Meanwhile, Mason Hill, Kayla Berry, and Emma Wilson-Saltos check back in, looking for a little more defense. Inside for Wilson-Saltos to get the steal. They were trying to get it to Roy. A leaping one-handed steal by Wilson-Saltos. Now it's Karen Easley with the short 2 from the right elbow, but that's no good. Foul on the floor during the fight for the rebound.
And that's defense into offense right there, Tucker. Wilson-Saltos would not let the St. Peter's player get position on her. She jumped up, knocked that ball down when that pass was going in, and turned into transition offense.
Yeah, Wilson-Saltos, usually a forward, but has at times played in the middle of the paint for this team. She was playing in the middle on that interception, and the pass was going to Karis Roy, who stands at 6'3", but she jumps up and snatches it away. Now Fordham with an inbound on the other end. Under the basket, Alexis Black gets it to the top of the key for Kayla Berry. Handoff play for Mason Hill. Now it's Easley on the left wing. She's guarded by 2 defenders. Alexis Black in the right corner for 3. That's good. The closeout was not in time. Alexis Black with her first bucket of the game ties the game at 17.
Great job by Easley. She draws in 2 defenders, finds the open guy on the far side, and Black does her job. She hits the 3.
7-12 and counting here in the second quarter. Ball's in the left corner for St. Peter's with Riley Sunday. And Sunday loses it down to the floor. It's Karen Easley once again, because who else would it be? And Easley forces a jump ball, but the possession arrow still pointing to the Peacocks.
You said it, Tucker. Who else would it be other than Easley? She has been everywhere so far this game.
Easley already with 2 steals in the game. She's also got a pair of assists to go with her 1 3-pointer made for 3 points. Under the basket for Alana. Alana gets it to the left wing, and now they'll get it all the way up top for Danae Rippey. Rippey fires the 3 from the left side, top of the key. No. Gets her own rebound and puts it back up right through the lane. Rippey for 2, and it's 19-17 St. Peter's.
Yeah, Rippey started sprinting towards the basket as soon as she took that shot, wanting to get her own rebound.
Alexis Black on the right wing for the Fordham Rams. Now to the right elbow for Wilson Saltos. Tries to back down her defender. Now into the left corner. Karen Easley wide open for 3, but it's long. Didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock does not reset, and there's a foul on the floor during the fight for the loose ball. The foul drawn by Mason Hill. I believe it's going to come against Esther Turi, her second personal.
Yeah, great job by Hill sprinting in from the top of the key. She sees this shot is going long, sprints down, grabs the rebound, and draws the foul.
Under the basket for the Rams, down by 2. It's 19-17 St. Peter's, 6:35 to go in the second quarter. Long inbound to Kayla Berry. The backcourt is legal after the inbound. The bench for St. Peter's really wanted a backcourt violation that time. Alexis Black, left wing, works around a Wilson Saltos screen, and there's another travel called against Alexis Black. She puts her hands on her face. She can't believe it, but it's another turnover caused by Fordham's leading scorer from their last game against NJIT.
Yeah, third travel there by Black. Vega was the person defending Black on that one. As she went under a screen, Black just took one too many steps at the top of the key.
Mason Hill guarding Alana all the way on the other end of the court. Now to the right side for Jada Mills, guarded by Black. Now inside, cutting in was Jayshlyn Vega. They got the pass to her at the left block. Her layup was no good, but she was fouled, so it's free throws for Jayshlyn Vega here with a 2-point lead.
Yeah, and her first free throws of the year, Tucker. Never made it to the line last game.
Vega's first is no good. Hits the rim a couple of times and the glass. Vega, a 5'5" freshman from Florida in Puerto Rico. As she makes the second of 2. Fordham gives Karen Easley a rest.
A well-deserved rest.
Yeah, she's been playing a large part of the back end of the first quarter and the first 4 minutes of the second, but Anastasia Veljovic checks in for her. Clock ticks under 6 to go here in the first quarter. Alexis Black with it on the right wing. Black tries to get it inside for Wilson Saltos, and she does. The layup is no good. Rebound Kayla Berry. Her putback is good. And it's now 20-19 St. Peter's, 5:45 to go in the second.
Yeah, Fordham just had St. Peter's outnumbered there, down by the block, and the offensive rebound and the second chance points were easy.
Kayla Berry's first make of the afternoon, of the evening, as now St. Peter's coming the other way. Inside for Karis Roy. She's blocked by Mason Hill. And now she's going to come the other way for the Rams. Hill, forward for Wilson Saltos. Up for 2, that's no good. Fight for the rebound. Under the basket, they're still fighting for it, and there's a jump ball. Anastasia Veljovic fighting for it that time, and the arrow pointing towards the Fordham Rams.
Mason Hill with the fantastic block on the other side of the court. Outsized by Roy, too, but she gets her left hand up and in there and blocks it.
Yeah, Roy, the tallest player on the floor tonight, and Mason Hill still getting the block. Now it's Hill in the corner off the inbound. Her 3 is no good from the right side. Rebounded by Rippey. Rippey picks it up and double dribbles. She tried to keep going after she lost the ball. I think you heard all the fans behind us, Brendan, noticing that immediately. And then the double dribble call comes out, so it's a turnover by St. Peter's.
Yeah, all the fans noticing it. Rippey not happy with it, though. She had a few words to say to the ref after that call.
Rippey's been very vocal in this game. A very emotional player, but one of the best for this Peacock squad. Fordham moves it inside for Wilson Saltos, left elbow. Now through the paint, she cuts and goes to the right hand. A pretty move that time by Emma Wilson Saltos, and extends the Fordham lead.
That was a great move, splitting 2 defenders, too.
Quick transition for St. Peter's. Karis Roy is fouled on the 2. And she's going to go to the line after the miss for 2 free throws. 21-20 after the Wilson Saltos layup gave Fordham the lead.
And Roy was grimacing after that one, holding her left side. Well, that's where Wilson Saltos hit her full body, full contact on that left side, but Roy looked like in a little bit of discomfort.
Yeah, Emma Wilson Saltos, if anything, is one of the toughest players on this Fordham team, and really looks like she put on a lot more muscle from last year compared to this year. Just looks so much stronger in general.
She does look stronger, and she showed it this game on the defensive side. And then on the offensive side, kind of playing a little bit of bully ball, trying to get a bucket.
Yeah, well, Fordham retakes the lead as we head to the media timeout here in the second quarter. 4:46 to go in the first half. 21-20 is the lead for Fordham. And we'll be right back. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every Ram. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
And welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker, Austin, and Brendan Shorey with you, where the Fordham Rams just retook the lead 21-20 over the St. Peter's Peacocks. But St. Peter's has Karis Roy at the free throw line after the teams exit their huddles. And Brendan, through the first half of the second quarter and after the first quarter, this game is much closer than you might think it would be, because Fordham has been mercilessly out-rebounding St. Peter's in this game so far. But you look to the free throws, St. Peter's is 9 for 13 from the stripe. Meanwhile, Fordham is 4 for 10. Likely the difference keeping St. Peter's in this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention too, Tuckers. The free throw disparity between the two teams. Fordham struggling at the line early, and that's even with Wilson Saltos last time going 1 of 4. She got 4 chances, only was able to put 1 of them in. But you look at this St. Peter's team, they've been very effective at the free throw line. And that's what they are. They're free points. Go get your free points. Each one counts. Each one counts. And you need to be good at the charity stripe if you want to be able to keep games close and eventually, in the end of games, extend leads.
Yeah, all the points that you can get matter in the long run. Missed free throws are one of those things that you wind up thinking about late in the fourth quarter, wondering why you're not 3 points closer, 5 points closer when you're down in the fourth quarter. It's always the missed free throws and the missed opportunities that come back to bite you. But Karis Roy at the line for the St. Peter's Peacocks. She hits the first of 2 to tie the game at 21 here with 4:46 to go. Roy didn't play all of last year due to an injury, but played all 30 games for this St. Peter's team in 23-24 and was 8th in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference in blocks. She makes both to make it a 1-point lead for St. Peter's, 22-21. Emma Wilson Saltos on the right wing. She goes right to left and goes up with the left hand. Emma Wilson Saltos cruises across the paint and kisses it off the glass to give Fordham a 23-22 lead.
Yeah, really tough shot, too, on that one. Fading away, going left, going up with the offhand.
Rippey has it now into the corner for Jada Mills. She drives in, gets it to Karis Roy, but there's not enough time for her to get an initial shot up, and then she does. Karis Roy working on Emma Wilson Saltos gets the 2. Another lead change, 24-23 St. Peter's.
Yeah, Roy just using her height to her advantage there. The tallest player on the court uses that height to score that bucket.
Veljovic has it top of the key. Now Alexis Black works it inside for Emma Wilson Saltos. She tries the bounce pass to Veljovic, but careless with it, and it's a turnover. Vega comes the other way for the Rams, goes up hard trying for the layup and hits the floor, but I believe there was no call in terms of a foul, but the ball out of bounds, and so it'll be St. Peter's ball as Vega is going to head to the bench.
Yeah, Veljovic, the one chasing down Vega there, ends up staying straight up. Vega was looking for contact, looking for that foul, but unable to get it.
Inbound to Rippey, and now Jada Mills. Mills down low for Roy, working on Sertau Tata. Goes up with the right hand over Sertau Tata. The two biggest players on the floor tonight going at it under the basket, but Roy wins it that time. 26-23 St. Peter's. 3:24 to go in the second quarter. Sertau Tata on the left post. Now into the corner for Alexis Black. Her three is no good. It rattles in and out. Battle for the rebound. Both teams pointing at each other, but the referee says it's St. Peter's ball with a 3-point lead. Clock stopped at 3:14.
Yeah, both teams struggling from three early. We saw another miss there from Fordham that makes them 3 of 13 now.
And the ball poked away on the full court press by Kayla Berry. And St. Peter's had two players up the floor, with Fordham having three in the backcourt, and now the layup is good from Mason Hill, and it's 26-25 St. Peter's. Fordham still running that press. Alana's double teamed in the corner, and it's stolen by Alexis Black. Veljovic right block. Her layup, no good. Rebounded by Alana. Alexis Black is still there. Veljovic now guards Alana. Alana has to get across the timeline, and she does. Top of the key now. St. Peter's will try to calm things down. 2:30 to go here in the second quarter. Rippey working on Veljovic. Rippey to the left wing. Jada Mills, her three is long, no good. Rebound Sertau Tata. Alexis Black across the tie line for the Rams. Dribbles with the left hand. At the left post, she puts it in. The bank is open for Alexis Black, and it's 27-6 Fordham. Timeout St. Peter's.
Beautiful finish there by Black. She bumps Sierra Patricio off of her, creates a little bit of space, touches it off the glass, fading away for the bucket.
And every time Fordham starts to fall behind a little bit, St. Peter's gets back into the game and then even gets up by a couple of buckets. You see that strategic full court press come out from Bridgette Mitchell, completely flips the run back on its head, and Fordham right back where they were before with a 1-point lead.
Yeah, it seems like they're always finding a way to flip the momentum back, find an easy way to get an open look, an open basket, and they're converting on those, and they're staying right here with these St. Peter's.
St. Peter's are 7 for 20 tonight. Fordham are 10 for 31. So Fordham really trying to beat St. Peter's at their own game, trying to throw up as many shots as possible. Maybe not all threes, but really trying to outshoot a St. Peter's team that loves to shoot the basketball.
And at this point, more threes in this St. Peter's team as well.
2:11 to go in the second quarter as it's inbounded to Rippey. Now forward for Nikola Zdenkova. Now Rippey, top of the key. Shakes off a defender and then works through the contact by Sertau Tata. Gets the 2 and 1. Danae Rippey have a first half for these St. Peter's Peacocks. She's going to the line for a chance to make it a 2-point lead with 2:02 to go in the second.
That was a really nice Euro step. Fakes right, goes left, lays it with the left hand through the contact and draws the foul.
That 2 gets her up to 11 points already on the night. Tied for the lead in scoring with Karis Roy, also at 11. Rippey's free throw is no good, off back rim, and so she'll stay at 11 points on the night, and the lead will stay at 28-27. Alexis Black working on Rippey. Goes to the right hand, now up for the lay. It's no good, but she's fouled. Alexis Black goes down really hard. She's picked up off the floor by a couple of her teammates. The foul's going to come on Danae Rippey, and Alexis Black will go to the line. Veljovic checks out for Karen Easley.
Yeah, it looked like Alexis Black loved that matchup against Rippey because that looked like a straight-up ISO from the very beginning of the possession.
Alexis Black got a chance to show off the handles a little bit there to get the space as she makes the first of 2 to tie it at 28. Alexis Black, her second free throw is also good, makes both. And now it's 29-28, Fordham again with the lead. 1:53 to go here in the second quarter. Still pressing are the Rams. As the ball gets away on the pass down the floor for Jada Mills, stolen by Sertau Tata. Alexis Black has it. She's going to drive from the left wing all the way into the lane, but it's no good. Fight for the rebound between Sertau Tata and Niankin, but it gets away. Easily with the steal. Easily finds Alexis Black. Right wing, her three is no good. Rebound Sertau Tata. She gets the putback, and it's all too easy for the 6'1 Ugne Sertau Tata. 31-28 Fordham.
Nobody down there with Sertau Tata makes it a very easy offensive rebound and second chance points.
1:15 to go in the first half here. Fordham protecting a 3-point lead. A three ball here from Nikola Zdenkova, and she hits it. We're tied at 31 with 1:04 to go in the second quarter. Now Fordham the other way. Easily, right wing. Now Black top of the key. Alexis Black swings it to Mason Hill. Now Alexis Black will pull a top of the key three. That's no good off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Jada Mills. Luella Alana has it. 45 seconds to go in the half. Pass inside for Karis Roy. She goes up with the lay. That's no good. I believe there's a foul called here against Karen Easley on the block.
It looked like a late foul call on that one, Tucker, on Easley. Blocking foul down low. She had to rotate over to Roy after Sertau Tata took a stab at that ball on the pass and missed.
It's interesting. The blocking foul came out after the shot, but it was drawn by the shooter. A bit of a weird call that time. It seems like they're still trying to figure. No, it will be two shots. So initially it looked like it might be on the floor, but they are going to give Karis Roy a pair of free throws here. Should be noted that Danae Rippey also took a hard fall on that last play. Her teammates had to peel her off the floor, but she seems to be okay now. Roy missed the first and misses the second. So still tied at 31 now, 36 seconds to go. Alexis Black pushes the pace, loses the basketball. Omashola has it. Her shot is over the rim, no good. Rebounded by St. Peter's. Karen Easley brings the press against Alana. Alana trying to work past Easley. Alana gets across the tie line, and Easley still guarding her close. Way behind the three-point line, Easley is giving Alana absolutely nothing. Finally gets the ball away for Karis Roy. Roy drives to the right block, working on Omashola, up with the left hand, that's no good. Rebound Omashola, she can't save it. And so with 4.2 seconds to go, it's going to be possession for St. Peter's with a chance to take the lead before the half.
Yeah, that's been Karis Roy's bread and butter tonight. Get down low on the post, spin move, see if you can hit a post fade or a hook shot or something of that sort. This time just doesn't fall.
Still trying to use that size to her advantage as the inbound comes to Jada Mills. There's a foul called, though. I believe it's against Karen Easley, another blocking foul. St. Peter's into the bonus, so that's going to send them to the free throw line with 2.9 to go.
And it looked like Easley bumped knees on that foul. She took a second to get up.
It's a really, really tough play because Karen Easley's been playing some tenacious defense in this game. Flying around the court, guarding the basketball wherever it is. And it's so tough to see her take a foul that's essentially a hustle foul from her trying to move around so much. The first one doesn't go from Jada Mills. We're still tied. Second free throw missed off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Rippey. She goes up at the buzzer. She's also no good. And so the game remains tied. St. Peter's with 3 opportunities in the last 4 seconds to take a lead in this game. They miss both free throws, and Rippey misses the putback. And we remain tied at 31 after 20 minutes of play.
Yeah, and Tucker, something to worry about if you're Fordham. Karen Easley, that was her 4th foul there at the very end of the half. Very unfortunate. The player who's out there hustling the hardest, making the plays on the defensive end, now sitting in foul trouble.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if her usage goes down. It likely will in the second half, just trying to keep her out there because she's been such a spark plug on this defense. You look at the other side in terms of the personal fouls. They've really, St. Peter's has done a great job of keeping their hands generally to themselves. The only people in foul trouble are 2 players who came off the bench, didn't play a lot of minutes. And then Layla Grant also has 2 personals. For the Fordham Rams, though, they also don't have many players in foul trouble. It's really just Karen Easley with her 4 that is going to make things interesting in that second half. But Fordham has made 1 more 3 than St. Peter's going into halftime. They've also made 2 more baskets than St. Peter's overall. But again, it's those free throws. St. Peter's with a 5-bucket advantage in terms of the free throws. 11 for 20 for Peters, 6 for 12 for the Rams. That's got to turn around in the second half for them to pull away from the Peacocks.
Yeah, that's going to turn around in the second half, especially if you want to win this game down the stretch. If you have a lead, you know you are going to be going to the line consistently. You're going to have to be making those free throws if you want to keep that lead and extend it.
And well, that just about wraps things up for our first half of play here inside the Rose Hill Gym. It's the Fordham Rams 31, the St. Peter's Peacocks 31. And we send you back to the Rose Hill studio for the one-on-one halftime report. Here are Griffin Stevenson and Sam Jean Grande.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome in to the one-on-one halftime report. I'm Griffin Stevenson, joined by Sam Giagrande. We'll have you covered with all things Fordham women's basketball, talking about this one here with St. Peter's as they find themselves level on points with the Peacocks, 31-31. But before we can get into these halftime festivities, I'm going to send it over to my partner, Sam Giagrande, for a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Across campus over at the Rose Hill Gym, the Rams are tied at 31-all against the St. Peter's Peacocks, this Jersey City side, having 2 major chances to go up before the half, but could not get the ball through the basket. Upstate in Hamilton with a little snow landing soon. Colgate take on New Hampshire, the Raiders 42-35 against the Wildcats. The Wildcats narrowing the gap from earlier. While across the East Coast in Rhode Island, it's 49-24 versus Emmanuel College at the half. And down in Virginia, tip-off between George Mason and Florida A&M is only minutes away. Tomorrow in the heart of the United States, GW is playing Howard at 6 p.m. And up north in Pennsylvania at the same time, Lehigh plays LaSalle. On the men's side, tomorrow the Wagner Seahawks will travel here to the Bronx to take on the Fordham Rams. William & Mary will play the Richmond Spiders in the Old Dominion, while up in Rhode Island they will play Stonehill. Yesterday, the Knicks crushed the Nets 134-98 in the Garden. Mike's Brown's side being 6-3, their next match at home once more against the Grizzlies. Thursday, we'll have the Jets playing in Foxborough, home of the New England Patriots. Drake May and co. having a fantastic season, where the Jets facing the complete opposite. While the Packers will be in the Meadowlands to face the Giants at 1 p.m. on Sunday. I'm Sam Giagrande, the one-on-one scoreboard.
Great job, Sam. We are now going to talk about the game that everyone's been listening to. It's 31-31, all tied up, but it's an interesting one because I think if you look at the box score and you honestly just listen to the game, Tucker and Brendan's great calls so far, you'd be wondering how this Fordham women's basketball team is tied because, I mean, rebounding is 26-21, but they're winning the offensive rebounding battle 12-6 in their favor. And if you're a team that's rebounding the ball that well, you would think that you would find yourself ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're taking too many chances to get threes, and if you look at that, they're only 3 for 15. I think you got to keep the ball a little longer, keep the possession a little longer to get more points up.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to look at, both teams not really shooting free throws that well in this one. It's both teams shooting around 50%. St. Peter's shooting slightly better. They're 11 for 20. The Rams 6 for 12. Both teams also really not shooting well from 3. St. Peter's shooting 16%. They're 2 for 12. And then the Rams not much better. Only one more made 3. 20% from 3. They're 3 for 15. So it's a weird one. It's a physical one. Going off that, even both teams really only shooting below 40% from the field. The Rams shooting 30% from the field, and St. Peter's shooting 36% from the field. So it's interesting to kind of see that maybe it seems that both teams are doing better than the other in certain categories that usually in a game would mean that you are should be ahead by a fair margin, but since like St. Peter's is doing it better than the Rams in one area, it evens out, I would say. But if you're Coach Bridgette Mitchell going into this one, still tied, knowing you're not playing your best brand of basketball, what do you think you would say?
I think that the team has to stop focusing a little on team possession and getting the ball up to one player. If you look at St. Peter's, they have 2 players with 11 points leading the score, while Fordham's highest scorer, Alexis Black, is only at 7. I think you got to get the ball to one person who can consistently get you points instead of having go all around the court.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, Fordham, their high scorer, Emma Wilson-Saltos, the newly captain player for this season, she's got 7 points. The next closest are Mason Hill and Alexis Black at 5 and 4, respectfully. But you're right. Fordham needs to find the way to get the ball in the hands of their scorers, and I think just gain momentum, especially with missing these free throws. Take advantage of those offensive rebounds. Continue to crash the glass offensively. You just got to get the putbacks. You got to make it back up. Go back up strong with the ball, and I think that a lot of this can be chalked up to it's early in the season, right? The Rams still figuring their offense out, figuring how they want to play, and I guess on the flip side of that, I mean, Rams so far doing a good job on defense. Defense is keeping them in the game, so I think there's definitely a lot to play for. I would also like to see the Rams clean up their turnovers. Even though they're winning the turnover battle, St. Peter's has 11, Fordham has 10. But you just got to I think if I'm Coach Mitchell, you go into halftime and say, all right, the good news is it's still tied. The bad news is we didn't play our best brand of basketball in the first half. However, that's also kind of good news because it means you can go back out there and really show them what you're made of. And want to point out, we talked about how they need to get the ball in the hands of their best scorers, but the bench is doing its job. Fordham's bench is outscoring St. Peter's 13-1. So I think what maybe you got to do if you're Fordham is get their starters out of this game.
Maybe give them a little break, but I agree where it's early in the season. I don't think identity is expected right now, so I think you should be able to rotate a little and see what you can do with your bench players as well.
Yeah, also another thing, Fordham, both teams fouling a lot. There's been 23 fouls in this one, so just a sloppy game. I mean, I'll use an example. So you're a soccer guy, Sam. So when there's sloppy play, it almost allows the game to be more open when one team does figure it out, I feel like. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I think when you look at a game where it's very rough, it's super contact-based, once a team finds an opening, it kind of just falls apart from there, which could very much happen to this Fordham side right now.
Yeah, they just got to strengthen their momentum because it will be hard. I think the first team that can, like you mentioned, get their offense flowing, string together just some solid possessions, both offensively and defensively. It's really hard for the other team that's also playing kind of sloppy to get up, to kind of get awake and get going. And by the time they do get awake and get going, usually it's too late. So I'm excited to see how this Rams team does in the second half. Definitely a lot to look out for here. But no, overall, not the best performance in the first half, but definitely not the worst. And I think, look, not shooting the three ball well, I never thought that was really going to be their identity, but focus on things you can fix, I think, is our takeaway from the half, right? So
I agree.
Free throw shooting, which has been a problem for both our women's and men's teams dating back to last season. Even worse, honestly, for the men's team. The women's team was honestly decent at free throws last year, but it's something that we have seen in this recent history of this Fordham basketball program that has cost teams games. So I think the first thing you fix is just knock down those free throws, knock down those foul shots.
No, definitely. I think going into the third quarter, I think you say at the half look, the momentum's, I think, somewhat going to Fordham, especially with 2 missed free throws right before the end of half for St. Peter's. I think you use this momentum, you go in with a new mindset and see what he can do on the court.
Yeah, mindset, I think you use the word mindset. I think that's a key thing. But that's to give Coach B her props. I think she's built a great mindset with this team. I think Coach B herself has a great mindset. She's someone that really tries to push these players and wants them to be firing on all cylinders, but most importantly, I think she just wants them to give it their all. And I think if Fordham goes out here in the second half and does give it their all, I think they have a pretty good shot of winning this, and I think they're in the position, coaching-wise, player ability-wise, to do that. Also, they're at home. They play where they're used to playing. It's early on in the season. Players have the hunger. They want to get out on the right foot. So go out there and say, all right, we got 2 quarters in this one. Let's keep the season pushing in the right direction, coming off the loss from NJIT, and go out there and bounce back. But that'll wrap it up here for our one-on-one halftime report. I've been Griffin Stevenson, joined by Sam Giagrande. We'll get you back out to some lovely broadcasting calling by our play-by-play guy, Tucker Austin, and the color commentator, Brendan Shorey. They'll be right back with second half after this break.
Hey Devils fans, Tucker Austin here from WFUV Sports, one of your New Jersey Devils beat reporters for the 2025-26 season. From Hughes Brothers Havoc to Heischer hat tricks and Markstrom masterclasses, I'll have you covered live from the Prudential Center for all things Jersey hockey. Follow me on X at @Taustin_24, where I'll have live game updates, analysis, and post-game coverage all season long as the Black and Red look to bring Lord Stanley back to the Rock. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New Jersey Devils.
Hi, I'm Ashley Went, one of your hosts for FUVFC, WFUV's best, if not only, podcast for all things soccer. From insight from beat reporters for all of New York's soccer clubs to breakdowns of all the major leagues and events from the international pitch to right here in the States. Tune in weekly as we discuss all things soccer on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week on FUVFC, a product of WFUV.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Diaz.
And I'm Mary Hannah Gallagher.
And we're the host of All In, a women's sports podcast.
On All In, we discuss everything women's sports, from the WNBA, the AUSL, and NWSL.
No matter the sport, we have you covered.
You can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
We welcome you back into the Rose Hill Gym here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker Austin and Brendan Shorey with you, ready to get rolling once again between the Fordham Rams and the St. Peter's Peacocks here for the second half of action for a very eventful first half. Brendan, you pointed these out to me last year. Fordham only played one game in which they were tied at half. They won that game. They went 1-0 when tied at halftime, but I think more importantly, when the Fordham bench outscored their opponents last season, they went 11-3. Tonight, their bench has 13 of their 31, and St. Peter's has 1 point off their bench.
Yeah, Tucker, the bench play has been huge for Fordham, and we've seen throughout the first half, Coach Mitchell went with a lot of those platoon subs, get 5 new players in, take the existing 5 out, and of course that's going to result in more productivity from your bench when you have them in the game more frequently. But we're seeing them produce while they're in, and that's the next step, producing while you're in the game for Fordham. And they've been doing that, and that's a very good omen for what's to come this half.
Fordham runs out the same starting five from the first half. Veljovic, Hill, Berry, Wilson, Saltos, and Alexis Black. St. Peter's gets it into the corner for Zdenkova, who picks up right where she left off at the end of the first half. It's a three in the right corner, and St. Peter's has a 34-31 lead.
And that's their calling card, Tucker, the three ball.
Veljovic, right corner, gets it inside for Wilson Saltos, who goes up and under but can't get it to go with the left hand, gets her own rebound, up and under from the other side, and this time she's fouled. No good, but Emma Wilson Saltos will go to the line.
Tucker, we mentioned it earlier, the strength of Wilson Saltos there. Puts up the first layup, it doesn't go, but she's strong enough to get up, get her own rebound, and give it another go.
Can't quite get the second to go, but interesting to see up and unders from both sides with both hands. Emma Wilson Saltos clearly confident in her ability to score from either side as she makes the first of two free throws. Wilson Saltos, a four-year player here at Fordham University, and one of the captains, makes the second of two to make it a one-point game. It's 34-33 St. Peter's here, 9:30 to go in the third quarter. Get it to Danae Rippey, who had a huge first half for St. Peter's. Now it's Alana. Alana cross court for Grant. Now it's Rippey. Rippey top of the key, guarded by Veljovic, looking for an option. Layla Grant. Now it's Karis Roy at the top. They try to hand off, but now Layla Grant has it in the left corner. Grant goes inside for Roy. Roy's layup is good. She rolls it off the rim. It's 36-33 St. Peter's.
And that's a pick and roll executed to perfection there. Roy getting wide open under the basket and making the layup.
Kayla Berry finds Anastasia Veljovic on the right side. Now inside for Wilson Saltos. Saltos trying to go strong to the basket, but there's a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing towards Fordham. Fordham now moving left to right here in the second half. St. Peter's moving the opposite direction, right to left. St. Peter's head to toe, dressed in navy with white accents and white lettering and numbers on their jerseys. Fordham in their home whites with maroon numbers and letters. And a maroon design on the side of the jerseys as it's in the left corner for Alexis Black. She hits. They really need to get Alexis Black going, do the Fordham Rams, if they want to pull away, but that is going to go a long way towards that. 36-36, we're all tied once again with 8:30 to go in the third.
Yeah, Black gets her second three to go today.
As Alana drives into the paint from the right side and gets it to go with the right hand, St. Peter's retakes the lead, 38-36. Alexis Black guarded by Alana on that right side. Now Black on the right block, goes up with the right hand and finds the hole. Alexis Black finding space behind the defense and getting home to the rim. It's 38-38 with 8 minutes to go in the third. Veljovic loses a shoe at midcourt but quickly gets it back on. Now into the left corner for Layla Grant. Left wing for Rippey. Rippey drives into the left block, loses the ball, and now her shot is blocked by Wilson Saltos, picked up by Alexis Black. Veljovic drives to the right block, goes up with the right hand, that's no good, gets her own rebound. She gets it to Kayla Berry. Now it's up top for Alexis Black. She'll call the offense. Guarded by Layla Grant. Right corner, Veljovic. And they've got a foul on the floor against Nikola Zdenkova, drawn by Emma Wilson Saltos. And a bit of a random off-ball personal foul there. St. Peter's already up to 2 fouls. Fordham has not committed one yet.
Well, Zdenkova just outmatched there by Wilson Saltos. Has to grab her in order to keep her down low.
Inbound from Alexis Black to Kayla Berry, and Berry finds the two. Nice and easy with the left hand. Fordham has the lead. It's 40-38. Rippey across to Alana. Alana, right wing, guarded by Mason Hill. Now it's Zdenkova. Rippey, Grant, all the way to the left side for Alana. Inside for Rippey, tipped away by Veljovic. Kayla Berry tried to wrestle with the basketball and settle it down, but it gets out of bounds, and St. Peter's will get a 13-second shot clock here, 7:05 to go in the third.
Great job by Fordham there defensively, getting hands in there, but not fouling on that one as well.
Inbound from Alana to Rippey. She finds Alana again, moving at the top of the key, guarded by Mason Hill. Now Zdenkova inside for Karis Roy. She misses the layup, but the foul called late after the shot by the referee. It's against Ugne Sertau-Teita, I believe, and Karis Roy will go to the line. Roy is 5 for 7 at the stripe tonight.
Yeah, Sertau-Teita tried to cut that pass off but missed it. Gave Roy positioning, tries to make up for it and get back and contest it. Just not able to without fouling.
Sertau-Teita going to take a second in the backcourt, talking to Coach Bridgette Mitchell near the sideline as Roy's first of 2 goes. And now Fordham going to switch Veljovic out for Sertau-Teita next to the left block. They want that size near the basket in case Roy misses the second. Roy to tie. And she hits 40-40 now. 6:56 and ticking in the third quarter. Alexis Black gets it to Hill, and now to Kayla Berry. A long 2 for Berry is no good. Rebound by Sertau-Teita, and she gets it over multiple defenders, and it's a jump ball. Sertau-Teita ripping the basketball away, but it seems like she may have caught a St. Peter's player on the back end with that right elbow. Can't quite see who it was. I think it may have been Rippey. Rippey took a shot to the gut from Sertau-Teita, but it was legal. Ugne Sertau-Teita trying to rip the ball away from the defenders.
And Tucker, really unfortunate for Fordham. It seems like every jump ball this game is going St. Peter's way.
Now, St. Peter's, after the jump ball possession, gets across the timeline with Alana. Now to the left wing for Grant. Top of the key for Roy. Karis Roy goes up against Ugne, and she hits from just outside the right block on the right side with a little baby hook, and it's 42-40 St. Peter's. Fordham gets it inside for Sertau-Teita. Ball's tipped away, and it's going to be another jump ball. This time it's in the paint, but now it's Fordham's possession with the arrow pointing towards the Rams.
Yeah, Sertau-Teita loses the handle, and that one ends up on her back on the ground with the ball tucked into her stomach. St. Peter's does a good job jumping on that, tying her up.
Roy takes a seat, and Esther Turi comes in for her to maintain some semblance of size for the St. Peter's team. They only have 2 players over 6 feet because their other 6-footer, Layla Laws, is out today.
Tucker, it seems like there is a problem with Layla Grant, referee motioning for some sort of time, pointing at Grant.
I think St. Peter's was forced to take one of their timeouts possibly here, unless the referees just stopped play naturally for Layla Grant, but she's getting some attention from the training staff behind the St. Peter's bench now.
It looks like just wiping blood off or something of that sort, because she was ready to stay in and is ready to go back on that bench.
Fordham also taking some time to wipe something off the back of Ugne Sertau-Teita's leg as well, as Fordham will inbound it from under the basket with Alexis Black. She gets it to Mason Hill. Up with the layup, good and one. Mason Hill slicing through the lane, takes the contact, gets the bucket, and she'll go to the line for a chance to give Fordham a 1-point lead.
And Mason Hill on this play off the inbound, the third person to cut to the basket. She ends up being the one open and gets the very tough and one to fall.
Mason Hill's first trip to the line tonight, and she misses, but it's rebounded by Alexis Black, who takes it back to the three-point line. Black to the left corner for Mason Hill. Hill finds Sertau-Teita. She regains possession. Now moves inside, up with the right hand. That's no good. It rolls out of the rim, but rebounded by Niankin. Lucretia Edwards now in the game. She gets it across for Mason Hill, now up top for Black. Black steps up to the left wing, now steps back. Her foot's on the line. She hits the 2 from very long range. Does Alexis Black. And it's 44-42. The Rams have the lead.
And Tucker, the ref just did the same thing for Sertau-Teita. It looks like her knee is a bit red. Looks like it might be bleeding. She's out of this game now.
Yeah, so maybe Grant, in battling for the basketball with Sertau-Teita, got a bit of blood on her, but clearly it was from Sertau-Teita, not from Grant. into the right corner for Zdenkova. Now right wing three for Danae Rippey. No good. Rebound. And the putback is good. St. Peter's ties it up at 44. Pass to the right corner for Mason Hill is nearly stolen. Alexis Black, right wing three is good. Splashdown for Alexis Black, and it's 47-44 Rams.
2 makes in a row now for Black. It seems as if she might just be heating up for this Fordham Rams team.
It's Rippey with it, whom got her own miss on the 3 and made the 2 to tie it at 44, but then Alexis Black responds. Black now up to 17 points, just like that, Brendan. Barely even noticed, but she's almost got 20 again.
She does. A very impressive third quarter from her. She appears as if she's been heating up recently.
And so with a foul under the basket, that brings us to our media break here in the third quarter. But after the 3 by Alexis Black, it seems like every time that there is an extended break in this game, Fordham somehow winds up with the lead. They're always getting to their spots when they need to, and they find themselves with a 3-point lead once again here. 4:48 to go in the third quarter. It's 47-44 Fordham, and we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball right after this on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside US Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One-on-One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
And welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York, where Fordham women's basketball is trying to get their second win of the season against the St. Peter's Peacocks. It's 47-44. Fordham has the lead after an Alexis Black 3. And Brendan, we talked a little bit in the break. Alexis Black had 7 points at halftime after kind of a slow start to the game, coming off of a career-high 30-point performance last time out against NJIT, but now just 3 minutes and 12 seconds in to the third quarter, and Alexis Black is up to 17 points now. She's 3 for 8 from 3. She has as many 3 points made as all of St. Peter's.
And that's something we saw from St. Peter's last game, was just struggling to make the 3, and they have been today, only 3 of 14. But Alexis Black, who I wouldn't necessarily say struggled in the first half, just kind of wasn't on par as what she was last game, has come to life in this third quarter and has really kind of taken over this Fordham offense.
St. Peter's has 3 personal fouls in the quarter so far, Fordham with just 2, but in the game, Fordham has committed 15 personal fouls to St. Peter's 13, and many of those fouls coming on shots by the Fordham Rams. St. Peter's has gone to the line a whopping 22 times tonight. They've made 13 of those. And I tell you, Brendan, this game could have a lot different of a complexion if Fordham was playing a little bit cleaner and guarding shooters.
Yeah, and it could, and it also could if either of these teams kind of clean up that free throw shooting as well. Both teams sitting a little under 60% from the charity stripe today, but that's kind of what you get with a fast-paced game like this, is you're going to get a little bit sloppy at times, and that's okay. You know that. You expect that coming into it. It's just, can you clean up when it matters?
Between the fouls and the turnovers, too, St. Peter's has 12 turnovers to Fordham's 11. But Fordham's been doing a good job so far at the start of this second half, limiting those turnovers, taking care of the basketball much better than the first half. Rippey missed the first of 2. Her second is good. So 1 of 2 from the line, that time from Rippey, and Alexis Black was the one who sent her there with her first personal foul before the break. Now, Alexis Black has the top of the key. Ornella Nyankin Cross court, Mason Hill into the corner for Lucretia Edwards. Her three is no good, rebounded by Alana. 4:30 to go in the third quarter. Luella Alana goes from her right to her left and now gets it back to the right wing for Zdenkova. Now it's Karis Roy. Up top for Alana. She calls a play. Guarded by Mason Hill. Ornella Niankin. They try to trap her, but she gets out of it. Rippey now drives into the lane, blocked by Ornella Niankin, and picked up by Lucretia Edwards. Edwards in transition, finds Niankin. Now back to Edwards, cross court for Black. Black all the way into the corner for Niankin. Now Lucretia Edwards, left wing three, that is no good. Off the rim, then the glass, rebounded by Rippey. Fordham trying to throw up some dagger threes in this third quarter to try and pull away from St. Peter's, but no dice. Alana almost trapped again. She gets it to Rippey. Rippey's shot, no good. Rebounded Niankin. Now Alexis Black with it across the timeline. Black pulls from near the free throw line. That's no good. And rebounded by Rippey. A lot of back and forth in this series now. As Layla Grant has it, now it's Alana. Alana guarded by Black. She gets it to Karis Roy. Roy working on Wilson Saltos on the left block. Goes up with the layup, that's no good, but the foul is called against Emma Wilson Saltos. Karis Roy going to the line.
Yeah, Roy has been so good at manipulating that defense and getting to the line today. 7 of 9 from the line already. She leads the team in free throw attempts, tied with Rippey. Leads the team in free throw makes on the day, and now she's headed back there.
Bridgette Mitchell wants an explanation from the officiating crew for that last foul. As the play, they looked pretty separated, but Emma Wilson Salto seemed to have gotten her hands on Roy. She went up for the shot. Her first free throw is good. It makes it a 47-46 game with 3:10 to go in the third. Fordham checked a handful of players into the game as Roy makes both at the free throw line to move her point total to 19 now, 9 for 11 from the free throw line. Roy takes a seat. Kayla Berry's in the game now for the Rams, as well as Ugne Sertau-Teta, and Anastasia Veljovic now in. Alexis Black with it, gets it to Ugne. Ugne back to Alexis Black. Black works around a screen from Sertau-Teta. Now she gets it to Mason Hill. Her three is no good, and it's rebounded by St. Peter's. Danae Rippey quickly the other way. Now Vega in the corner for Jada Mills. Left corner three, no good. Fight for the rebound as Layla Grant hits the deck, but the ball goes out of bounds and it'll be Fordham's possession.
Yeah, Fordham lucks out here. St. Peter's has a 3-on-2, and they get an open look from three. Just a miss from the corner. Fordham's able to watch that one go out of bounds and take over.
Alexis Black on the ball for the Rams, as she's been most of the night. Ugne Sertau-Teta has it now left wing, puts it on the floor, drives the lane, now to Lucretia Edwards in the corner, that's Mason Hill. Her three's no good. Fight for the rebound by Veljovic, but there's a foul on the floor. Wait to see who it's against. I believe they call it on Layla Grant, and it sends Veljovic to the line.
Yeah, Veljovic does a good job fighting for that rebound. Going up through contact, drawing that foul in a crowd of bodies.
Yeah, it's Layla Grant's third personal. And the first trip to the stripe for Veljovic. Her first is no good. Off the back rim, then front rim, then out. 2:26 to go here in the third quarter. We're in a tie game at 47. Veljovic can't untie it as she misses both at the free throw line. And now the other way come the Peacocks. Left side, it's Jada Mills. Mills looking for options. She gets it out to Jayshlyn Vega, the freshman guard from Puerto Rico. All the way across for Zdenkova. Now back to Vega. Vega top of the key, moves left to right. Right wing three for Vega. That's good. Jayshlyn Vega hits from beyond the arc and gives St. Peter's a 3-point lead. It's 50-47.
And she grabs her first basket of the day. The three-pointer puts it up to 4 points and takes a 3-point lead.
Ugne Sertau-Teta has it top of the key, looking for options. Tries to find Edwards in the corner, and it's intercepted by Jada Mills. To the right side for Zdenkova. It's no good on the three from the right wing. Fight for the rebound. Veljovic but it's a jump ball forced by Rippey, and the possession arrow pointing to St. Peter's.
Talking the last few possessions show us just truly how much the St. Peter's team lives and dies by the 3 ball. You have a fast break in transition here. Zdenkova pulls up from 3, misses it, but she takes the 3. That's the important part.
Danae Rippey has a double-double in this game at 14 points and 12 rebounds. Right corner for Vega. Fakes the 3 and now tries to move inside. Ball gets away and Veljovic has it. Quick transition by the Rams. Veljovic drives all the way to the lane. Up with the right hand. It's no good. Battle for the rebound. And I believe it looked like it may have been last touched by Sertau Teita, but they're going to keep it under the basket off of St. Peter's.
Yeah, Veljovic still searching for her first points of the game. She had that chance on the free throws last time. This time, bumps Vega, goes up, and that one just switches out.
Inbound from Alexis Black. She finds Lucretia Edwards. Now it's Wilson Saltos fouled by Esther Turry. That should be Turry's 4th personal. And she's going to check out in favor of Karis Roy. Wilson Saltos at the free throw line for the Fordham Rams. She's 3 for 6 from the stripe today. First one goes for Wilson Saltos, her 8th point. And the second is no good. Another fight for the rebound here, and Rippey gets it out. Vega brings it across the timeline, guarded by Veljovic. Now left wing for Jada Mills. Mills drives to the block, through the paint. Stolen by Emma Wilson Saltos. Alexis Black now going to go all the way to the lane, coast to coast. Reverse layup, no good. Out of bounds. It was last touched by a Peacock, and Fordham will have another inbound underneath. Fordham also in the bonus now with St. Peter's up to 5 fouls.
On that last defensive possession, Wilson Saltos does such a good job at keeping her hands straight up in the air, not fouling, and blocking that pass.
Yeah, Wilson Saltos at 3 fouls tonight now, so she has to be a little more careful and doing a good job that time. Inbound to Arnella Niankin, and she hits the mid-range from the left baseline. It's 50 all now with 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Fordham is retied. Jayshlyn Vega has it, guarded by Alexis Black. She finds Rippey. Rippey to Zdenkova. Now Rippey tries to drive the lane, throws up a wild shot. It's no good. Wilson Saltos took some contact that time, but stayed strong and forced the miss. 28 seconds on the game clock, 2 seconds between shot and game. Up for the layup goes Niankin, tipped out of bounds by Karis Roy. And so 23.2 on the game clock in the 3rd quarter, 21 on the shot clock. Fordham with another inbound under the basket.
Niankin does a good job getting positioning on the fast break. She has an undersized player on her, forces Roy to come down and help.
Black finds Hill. Mason Hill, cross court for Niankin. Niankin guarded by Rippey. Niankin now to the left wing. Alexis Black drives towards the block, puts up a floater, no good. Rebound Karis Roy. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Peters has to move quickly to get a shot up. Alana calling a play. She gets it to Mills. 3 seconds on the game clock. Mills drives inside. It's blocked by Mason Hill, and the buzzer sounds. And we were tied at 31 at half. We're tied at 50 going to the 4th quarter. What a matchup this has turned into, Brendan.
What a matchup it has turned into. So tightly contested between these two teams. There's offense, there's defense, there's big plays, there's momentum shifting plays as well. But this is shaping up to be a great game that looks like it's going to come down to the last couple minutes.
A lot of physical play, too. Multiple players starting to rack up more fouls as this game gets so much chippier, and every bucket feels so much more important. But as we head towards the 4th quarter, we're all knotted at 50 here at the Rose Hill Gym. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studio for a one-on-one scoreboard update. Here is Sam Giangrande.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
In the depth of the McShane Campus Center in the Rose Hill Gym, the Rams are tied at 50 all against the St. Peter's Peacocks. A tie once again, but Alexis Black having an electric quarter, taking over this Fordham offense. Snow falling down in Hamilton. Colgate are playing New Hampshire, the Raiders, 82-60 against the Wildcats. Over in the ocean state of Rhode Island, it's 100-47 against Emmanuel College in a blow-away game. Now down in the state of the most presidents, George Mason are up 39-20 against Florida A&M. Tomorrow, the nation's capital, GW is playing Howard at 6 p.m. And up north in the Keystone State, at the same time, Lehigh plays LaSalle. On the men's side, tomorrow the Wagner Seahawks will travel here to the Bronx to take on the Fordham Rams. William & Mary will play the Richmond Spiders in Virginia, while up in Rhode Island, they will play Stonehill. Yesterday in the Garden, Mike Brown's side beat the Nets 134-98. The Knicks playing at home tomorrow against the Grizzlies. Tomorrow we'll have the Jets play the Patriots in Foxborough, which in my opinion is the Meadowlands of Massachusetts, while the Packers will face the Giants at 1 p.m. on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. I'm Sam Giangrande with the 101 scoreboard update. Back to you all at the Rose Hill Gym. Come on, Rams!
Welcome back inside the Rose Hill Gym on the Rose Hill campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker, Austin, and Brendan Shorey with you. And we've stumbled into a dogfight here in the Rose Hill Gym, 50-all, as we head to the final 10 minutes. And there have been a lot of standout performances in this game for St. Peter's. Danae Rippey with 14 points and 13 rebounds, a double-double before heading into the final frame. She had 6 steals on top of that margin in just 29 minutes. Meanwhile, Karis Roy leading the team in scoring. She's almost to 20 points with 19. That heavily supported by her free throw shooting. She's 5 for 8 from the floor, 9 for 11 from the stripe. Meanwhile, for the Rams, it's been a lot more about spreading the love and spreading the basketball. But once again, now the third game in a row where Alexis Black has really been the core of the offensive production. She's got 17 on 3 of 8 from 3.
Yeah, it's been a lot about spreading the ball around. You have a handful of players for the Rams that are up there in points, sitting somewhat close to double digits, but you mentioned the St. Peter's duo today, Roy and Rippey. A fantastic game from them.
Alexis Black has it for the Rams to start the fourth quarter. Now Niankin. Here's Wilson Saltos, top of the key, looking for Alexis Black. She's going to pull the 3 from the right side. Top of the key, Alexis Black starts the fourth quarter with a triple. She's up to 20, and it's 53-50 Fordham.
Yeah, on the move, coming off an off-ball screen, Alexis Black with a big shot there.
And Peters tries to respond immediately, but Layla Grant misses the layup. Fordham with the rebound coming the other way. Wide open Niankin underneath. Alexis Black with the eyes in the back of her head. She finds Niankin underneath for the 2, and Fordham quickly builds a 55-50 lead in less than a minute here in the fourth quarter.
Alexis Black doing it all. The big 3 on the first possession, then pulls out the binoculars, finds her teammate underneath the basket for the 2, puts Fordham up 5.
And Jennifer Leadham takes time out for St. Peter's to try and stop some of this bleeding. It's now the largest lead of the night for the Fordham Rams, if you can believe it, at 55-50. And one of the quickest runs of scoring that Fordham has gotten in this game. St. Peter's has done a great job of chopping up Fordham's scoring, making sure that it doesn't happen in bunches and they don't get too far behind. So really, just from a basketball IQ standpoint, you got to love that timeout from Leadham to try and get her team to refocus and reorient themselves after quickly going down 5.
Yet another thing that the St. Peter's team has done is they've forced the Fordham offense to work in that half-court offense. They haven't given them a whole lot of fast break transition opportunities. They forced them even on the turnovers to slow the ball down once they cross the half-court line and have to run some sort of set, some sort of offense to get an open look. But here to open up the fourth quarter, Fordham with 2 quick scores. It took less than 40 seconds to put 5 more points up on the board.
And Alexis Black had her hands on both of those scores, of course, hitting the 3 from the top of the key to make it a 3-point game, then finding Niankin under the basket for the assist to make it a 5-point game. And really, that Niankin bucket, that was the closest thing I think we've seen to a Fordham fast break in this game, because they move in transition And the first thing Alexis Black did was almost fire a baseball pass in under the basket. And Niankin was right there wide open. There was nobody home underneath for St. Peter's. So it seems like even if Fordham can't get clean looks in transition, they can at least move the ball quickly enough so that when they get to the other end, they find St. Peter's out of position.
Yeah, and listen, give props to Alexis Black. She deserves it for that pass, but you also have to shout out Niankin for the positioning on that. She knew exactly where to go, where Black would find her, sat down in the open space, and made the easy bucket.
St. Peter's is in the midst of a 4-game road trip to start their season. This is game 2 of that road trip. They played their first game of the season at Seton Hall. They lost that game by in the realm of 40 points. Meanwhile, the Rams are starting their season with 4 games at home. But this, the second game of an interesting stretch where Fordham women's basketball plays 3 games in just 6 days. So a lot of game action happening within a week's stretch. But they fought a really tough game against NJIT on Friday. They're playing another really hard-fought game here against St. Peter's. And with the way the first 40 seconds looked like it went, Fordham is really on the verge of trying to break out and break away from these Peacocks.
Yeah, they are. Obviously 5 quick points to open up the quarter, but don't expect the Peacocks to back down at all. They've been fighting all game long. I expect Rippey to come out and try to make something happen on this next possession.
Noticeably, we talked about this at the end of the first half. Karen Easley, we haven't seen her at all in this second half. Just the entire third quarter. And now here to start the fourth, she is still on Fordham's bench, but sitting right next to the coaches there on the end. St. Peter's has it with Luella Alana. Now it's Karis Roy and now Rippey. Back to Alana, left wing, guarded by Mason Hill. They get it to the post for Roy, working on Wilson Saltos. And there's a foul called here. Believe it's against Wilson Saltos on the floor. Just too much body checking underneath. And they've been bumping bodies all night, Brendan. But now finally hard enough contact that made Roy really almost fall over before going to the basket.
And listen, it's difficult for Wilson Saltos. Roy has 4 inches on her.
As Roy tries to go up on Wilson Saltos. She misses the layup, rebounded by Niankin, but Niankin with her left foot on the baseline, so it's a turnover by the Fordham Rams and an inbound underneath for St. Peter's.
Yeah, good job there. We mentioned her name just a second ago. Wilson Saltos, a great job there defending Roy. Gets her to miss the layup. This one just an unfortunate bounce off the rebound.
Inbound goes to Roy, guarded by Ugne Sertauteta. Now it's across for Grant, and now Alana has it again. Into the corner for Rippey. Rippey working on Niankin. Goes to the opposite corner. Zdenkova, the 3 from the right corner, is no good. It rattles in and out. Fight for the rebound. And I believe there's looks like a foul on the floor. I think they called that one against Niankin. And it's another ball underneath for St. Peter's, but 2 quick fouls against the Rams here, just a minute and a half into the fourth. Inbound. Alana has it top of the key. Alexis Black misses the steal, but then it is stolen by Mason Hill. Now transition for Black. She's fouled on the floor by Alana. Actually, a pretty smart foul by Luella Alana with Alexis Black driving the lane, and so that one's going to go underneath instead of sending Black to the line.
Yeah, really smart foul. Looked like Black was about to go for an overhand scoop, bring it over Alana and have an open layup. Instead, Alana with the foul forces Fordham to have to get into a half-court offense.
And that's only the first foul that she's committed in the game, so really smart, sort of intentional foul by Alana. Alexis Black goes down low for Sertauteta, up with the right hand over the much smaller Alana, and she gets it to go. It's a 7-point lead for the Fordham Rams, 57-50 with 8:14 to go in the fourth.
Yeah, Sertauteta sets a screen for Black, and St. Peter's switches it. Sertauteta ends up down low with Alana on her. You have to take advantage of that mismatch, and she makes her pay.
It's a full court press once again by the Fordham Rams as Alana looks for a way to break it out, but now everyone sinks back to Fordham's side of the court. Mason Hill guarding Alana across the tie line. Alana still dribbling with that right hand on the right wing. She tries to get it to Rippey, nearly stolen by Niankin, but Rippey has it. She gets it to Karis Roy. Roy, and there's a foul off the ball. I think this one might be coming against Nyankin again. The referee showing the 5 to the bench. And Nyankin's been taking a lot of those fouls in this third quarter, really just in the start of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, that one's her second of the game.
Inbound under the basket comes from Alana, up for Rippey. Danae Rippey finds Layla Grant. Grant now to Roy, top of the key. Roy guarded by Sertau Tata. Tries to set a screen for Alana. Now to the right corner, it's Vega. Vega steps through. Her layup is an air ball about 1.5 feet short of the rim, and it's a turnover. Fordham Rams have it up by 7.
And Tucker, guess who came in on that last dead ball? Karen Easley into the game. Who else?
Easley, a fantastic freshman for the Fordham Rams so far in her early career. She had an excellent first half, but wound up with 4 fouls. As this one's into the corner, Mason Hill, her three's no good. Rebound, Sertau Tata, up off the glass, also no good. Another rebound, Sertau Tata, and she's fouled. Screaming with emotion is Sertau Tata. She wanted to get one to go, but just barely couldn't. Draws the foul either way, and Ugne will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Tucker. Sertau Tata is so disappointed that neither of those could fall, but she is going to the line. She's able to draw the foul down low after multiple offensive rebounds.
And as you mentioned, Karen Easley is back in the game now after an excellent first half in terms of filling the stat sheet, maybe not in terms of scoring, but you know, when you're a freshman playing for getting good minutes on your college basketball team, you really want to do anything that you can to stay out there, and Easley is doing just that in this game. It's great to see her back out there, but she does have 4 fouls. Sertau Tata missed the first and the second, nearly rebounded by Mason Hill after the miss. Now Hill almost steals it, but it's off her hand. Mason Hill, boy, we talked a lot about Karen Easley. Mason Hill is another freshman. It's a freshman duo for this Fordham team that have really shown a lot of good things in their early careers.
Yeah, and it looks like that scrappiness is all around right now.
Vega crosses the tie line. She gets it over to Jada Mills, and Mills travels under the basket. It's another turnover forced against the Peacocks. And Fordham really enforcing their will here early in the fourth quarter. Almost 3 minutes gone, 7:05 to go, and Fordham with a 7-point lead and the basketball. A lot of mistakes coming out of this St. Peter's squad down the stretch. Easley has it. Down low for Sertau Tata. Working on the post against Roy. There's a foul on the floor on Karis Roy. The Fordham bench hyping up Ugne Sertau Tata for drawing another foul. For Roy, I believe that's only her second.
And Tucker, Roy has 2 inches on Sertau Tata.
Inbound to Sertau Tata, no good, rebounded by Karis Roy. That battle underneath has been so fun to watch tonight between Roy and Sertau Tata. 6:40 to go in the fourth, 57-50 Fordham leads. St. Peter's trying to work their way back into this game. Vega, left wing 3, that's no good. Off the right rim, rebounded by Nyankin, and Fordham has it going the other way. Mason Hill, dribbling with the left hand, she gets it to Nyankin. Nyankin, up top for Karen Easley, who gets it to Alexis Black. She'll set up the offense. Alexis Black finds Sertau Tata on the left wing once again. Sertau Tata going to drive into the lane on Karis Roy. Loses the ball, but now regains possession. Still trying to work hard. Another foul called against Roy. Sertau Tata made the layup attempt, but it was a foul called on the floor against Karis Roy. And so the ball will come underneath.
Really disappointing there for Sertau Tata. After the last one where she put up a couple shots, none of them went in, and she was disappointed about it. This one finally does go in, but they call it on the floor.
Both the lead scorers for St. Peter's in the game at the moment. As one of their lead scorers then checks out, it's Karis Roy. Danae Rippey, though, stays in the game as she has played for most of this one. Alexis Black looking for an inbound option. Gets it to Nyankin. Nyankin to Easley. Easley working on Zdenkova. Now it's Black. Now it's Easley. Now Niankin. Niankin drives the lane from the right side. Gets it to Sertau Tata, who puts up a little floated shot. Barely sneaks over the rim from inside the paint, and it's a 9-point advantage for the Rams.
St. Peter's brought a double team on Alexis Black on the outside. Then the ball movement, swinging it around, finding the open person under the basket.
Vega, right wing guarded by Easley. Easley trying to chase her down. Now to the left wing. Vega pulls the three. It is no good. Airballed and out of bounds. The freshman, Jayshlyn Vega, taking a couple of wild shots here in this fourth quarter, trying to get her team back into the game. And Jennifer Leadham is going to bring her back to the bench for now.
This is where the expertise comes in. Zdenkova, the redshirt junior, goes over and talks to Vega after that shot.
Alexis Black works to the free throw line and puts up the two. It's no good. Rebounded by Easley. Into the corner. That three is no good from Veljevic. Still a battle for the rebound. It's picked up by Niankin. Now Alexis Black. Easley thinks about a three, but then no. Alexis Black inside for Niankin. And the pass to Sertau Tata. Her two is good. 61-50. The Rams on an 11-point run in the first 5 minutes of this fourth quarter. And that last play, tic-tac-toe, passing through the paint right to the rim to give Fordham their biggest lead of the night.
Yeah, that's how they scored, Tucker. Pass, pass, pass. Not a single dribble there on that sequence to score. Great ball movement. Finds Sertau Tata under the basket, wide open, and she's able to make the easy lay.
St. Peter's calls timeout and will step aside for just a moment. 5:02 to go in the fourth. Fordham leading 61-50 over the St. Peter's Peacocks. And we'll be right back with more Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And we welcome you back inside of the historic Rose Hill Gymnasium here on the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York. Tucker, Austin, and Brendan Shorey with you. We've got 5:02 to go here in the fourth quarter. And after a now 14-0 run across the last two quarters, the Fordham Rams find themselves with their largest lead of the night, up by 11. And St. Peter's running out of time here and starting to get towards panic mode.
Yeah, you mentioned they haven't scored yet this quarter. We're almost 5 minutes in, and St. Peter's still without a single point in the fourth quarter. And Tucker, I don't want to jinx anything, but looking back at last season, this Fordham team, when they had a lead with 5 minutes to go, 12-2 on the season. There's 5:02 left on the clock, so obviously not quite at that 5-minute mark yet, but they have a pretty good track record under Coach B that they can close out games.
Ugne Sertau Tata was a huge part of that run. No pun intended, she's one of the largest players by height on this Fordham squad. But big both in size and big in impact as well is Ugne Sertau Tata. Now up to 10 points, the second Fordham Ram in double figures tonight, and with 9 rebounds. She's just one more board away from a double-double. St. Peter's going to inbound it here with Danae Rippey. Rippey with 14 points and 13 boards. She has that double-double already for St. Peter's, but still trying to add to it. And that pass is going to be tipped out of bounds by Mason Hill. Fordham is really wreaking havoc in the front court when St. Peter's tries to get the ball up the floor.
Yeah, St. Peter's try to go right back to Rippey off the inbound. Hill tips and it goes off of Rippey's hand right afterwards.
So Fordham actually turns St. Peter's over. Easley inbounds it to Hill. Now Niankin has it. She's looking for an option and finds Easley on the right wing. And seems like there's a foul on the floor away from the basketball. Looks like a block against the Rams. And so St. Peter's gets it right back.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to call Sarah Tauteta for that one. She was very active down low, trying to find a way to get open and get that ball.
St. Peter's breaks the press. Danae Rippey almost goes coast to coast. She passes at the last second, but the layup is no good from Esther Turi. Mason Hill has it for the Rams. She's going to bring it across the tie line, and now into the left corner for Veljovic. Veljovic all the way across court for Karen Easley. Gets it inside for Sarah Tauteta, and they call a charge against Ugne Sarah Tauteta. Bit of an odd play there as Sarah Tauteta looked to be reaching for the basketball and made contact with the defender, but they call it against Ugne, and that puts St. Peter's into the bonus for them with no more fouls to give.
A little odd as well, Tucker, because it seemed as if Sarah Tauteta lost that ball, and that ball was already going out of bounds. It was almost landing out of bounds when that foul was called.
And so it'll be St. Peter's basketball after the timeout here. Bridgette Mitchell calling timeout. She wants to talk things over with her squad. Brendan, what's the message with an 11-point lead and 4.5 minutes to go?
It's play smart. You can't be out here fouling. You can't be out here giving up free layups. You also can't be out here turning the ball over. Play smart. There's no need to be too risky right now. Play safe, play smart, and play aggressive.
Yeah, Fordham did a great job playing smart and playing safe basketball in the third quarter. Then started the fourth hyper-aggressive, built that 11-point advantage. But now things starting to get a little out of hand, but Coach B calms them down. Now back to play again, and Layla Grant has it on the right wing to Alana. Alana's pass is tipped out of bounds by Veljovic as Alana really crashes into the cameraman under the basket there. And she returns to the court relatively quickly, and it's going to be an inbound under the basket for St. Peter's.
Yeah, Alana looking for an up and under, but Veljovic so good at making sure there's nothing available. She has to try and get it out, but Veljovic, again, great hands, blocks the pass afterwards.
Alana fires the inbound way into the backcourt for Rippey. Now it's Grant working on Easley. Over to Luella Alana. Alana working around Hill. Tries to get it to Roy, but it gets away. Shot clock violation. Even though Fordham was just about to get possession there. Regardless, the shot clock buzzes, and Fordham will inbound it from under their own basket. 3:56 to go here in the fourth quarter. Fordham trying to nurse an 11-point lead to the finish against St. Peter's, and the Rams looking for their second win of the season. Easley with the ball on the right wing, guarded by Alana, screened by Kayla Berry. Runs into a double team. Now it's Veljovic. Veljovic gets it to Berry. Now Easley. Easley thinks about going through the middle. Now she does. Puts up the teardrop. That's no good off right rim. Veljovic with the rebound and a fresh shot clock for the Rams. Easley, right wing. Now it's Mason Hill. Hill cross court for Veljovic, and it gets through. Now it's Berry on the right block. Up top for Karen Easley. Her three is no good. Rebounded by Kayla Berry. Another offensive rebound by the Fordham Rams. Clock's going to tick under 3 with Fordham having possession here. Easley has it. Left side. Works inside the arc. Now puts up the shot and hits Karen Easley. Ice in her veins. Knocks down the little midi, and it's 63-50 Rams.
And Tucker, Coach B was telling the team, open, spread the floor. And they do that just so well, easily able to get the bucket to fall.
Yeah, spreading the floor is what gave Easley the space to hit that from the left post. Now St. Peter's with it. 2.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And they're trying to dig their way out of a 13-point hole. Alana out to the right wing. For three, it's Layla Grant. She hits and makes it a 10-point game. That's just what the Peacocks needed this late in the game.
Yeah, the Peacocks, a big three. Their first points of the first quarter, and they're finally back on track.
Only Grant's her first make from the field in the game. Her 2 points coming from the free throw line. Mason Hill was left open for three, and she takes but doesn't hit it. It's rebounded by Veljovic. Clock under 2 minutes to go. Fordham with a 10-point lead. Easley into the corner for Hill. Now to the right wing for Veljovic. Top of the key, Karen Easley. She drills the three. The freshman Karen Easley puts the Rams up by 13, 1:40 to go.
Tucker, that's the beauty of the extra pass. You had 2 extra swings there at the end of the play. They give easily the wide open look from the top of the key.
Alana on the script F, trying to work past Mason Hill. Ball gets away, and it's stolen by Veljovic. Transition for the Rams. It's a 3-on-1. Veljovic, the layup. It's good. 68-53, 1:19 to go. Timeout, St. Peter's.
Huge play on the defensive end. You get the steal. You grab it, and Veljovic with the tough layup, 1-on-1 at the basket. Lays it with the right hand from the left side. And Fordham running away with this one right now.
What a fourth quarter explosion from these Fordham Rams. St. Peter's did an excellent job keeping things close for the first 30-some-odd minutes. But then right when that scoreboard switched to quarter 4, that was the switch that flipped in the heads of the Fordham Rams. Coach B's team taking no prisoners through the first 5 minutes, and now down to less than a minute and a half to go. Fordham with a very comfortable 15-point cushion.
Yeah, Tucker, 18-3, the scoring difference in this fourth quarter. Fordham with 18 points. This game, remember, this game was tied going into the fourth quarter at 50. St. Peter's just finally able to get their first basket of the quarter just a minute ago. They went 7 minutes scoreless.
Fordham with 28 offensive rebounds. They have more offensive boards than they have defensive boards. And now St. Peter's will inbound it. Fordham on a 21-3 run in the last 10 minutes and 46 of game time. Steal. Kayla Berry has it for the Rams after the inbound. Now Easley with the little teardrop. Karen Easley is going ballistic for the Rams right now. 70-53 with a minute to go as she's still playing defense. Vega goes up with a floater from the free throw line, and that's good. It makes it 70-55, but now under a minute. Fordham gonna do some dribbling on this possession for sure. It's Easley with it on the left side. Up top, Veljovic. She pulls for 3. That's no good. And it's another offensive rebound. Easley with it. Up top for London Lilly. Lilly now back in the game. Kayla Berry sets the screen for Lilly. Thinks about a 3, but no. Now Veljovic on the left wing. Screen by Omashola. Veljovic. And there's a 3-second violation against the Fordham Rams. I believe they're going to get Kayla Berry camping underneath. And so with 24.6 to go, shot clock is turned off. And it's 70-55, Fordham with the lead.
And Tucker, for probably the past 4 minutes, Alexis Black had been sitting at the check-in table waiting to come into the game. After the timeout, Coach B brought her back to the bench, said, "You're good, you're done for the day."
Easley still in there guarding Vega. 15 seconds to go in the game. And there's a foul called against Karen Easley. Looking at the bench. Karen Easley, a bit in disbelief, a little bit put off. She just fouled out. So Karen Easley, unfortunately for her, she fouls out after what was an absolutely incredible performance from the freshman with 13 seconds to go.
And she's obviously disappointed. 13 seconds left in the game. This game's out of hand. No need for the foul. She knows that.
Vega at the line hits the first. The second free throw from Vega. There's a clear lane violation that time. My goodness. Janine Ayash was about 4 seconds early into the lane. But either way, it's now 70-56 Fordham. 9 seconds. Clock counting down. They're not personal fouling. Veljovic has it. 1 second. And there's the buzzer. The Fordham Rams, in their third game of the season, they get their second win of the 25-26 campaign. They beat St. Peter's, and they extend their winning streak against the Peacocks to 6 straight.
6 straight now, and we talked to Coach B before the game. She said that absolutely does add fuel. Of course, you want to beat them for the 6th year in a row. It's become some sort of a rivalry, and Fordham able to get the job done today, Tucker, behind a very strong fourth quarter.
A strong fourth quarter, to say the least. How about a dominant fourth quarter? I mean, what an incredible performance coming out after the third quarter. After you're tied at half, you're tied in the third quarter, and then head into the fourth and put the pedal to the metal, put St. Peter's right in the floor, and put up an excellent performance that they're going to be able to carry forward into their games going on. That is how you close a basketball game in that fourth quarter.
That's exactly how you close a game. 20-6. They outscored St. Peter's. They closed this game out. They secured the win. And on top of that, because of that fourth quarter, you mentioned it, Tucker, carrying momentum into next game.
An unbelievable number of offensive rebounds for this Fordham team. We knew they were good at rebounds last year, but goodness gracious, 56 rebounds total for the Rams in this game. The last time they registered at least 50 was 53 against George Washington on February 4th earlier this year. They put up 56 tonight. And you look at you look across the board, Fordham out and out in that fourth quarter. They deserve to be winning this game by much more going into the fourth, but in the fourth they absolutely proved it. Their bench outscored St. Peter's bench 30-7. We talked about spreading the ball around, and Fordham did an excellent job of that. So many players with points. Actually, every single player that Fordham brought into this game scored at least a point.
And Tucker, that's something we talked about as well, is when Fordham's bench outscores the other teams. We mentioned it, just how good they are when that happens, how effective they are when that happens. We saw that today. We saw how good they are. And while it may not have looked so dominant throughout the game, that fourth quarter, I think, truly showed the possibilities.
Well, it was a 19-point night for Karis Roy. She played really well, the biggest player for St. Peter's. 14 points and 13 rebounds, a double-double for Danae Rippey. She also played great, but it just wasn't enough for St. Peter's. 10 points for Karen Easley, the freshman. She did foul out, but she wound up in double digits. Excellent night for her. We will surely see plenty more of her as we go forward. 10 points for Ugne Sertauteta, 1 rebound short of a double-double. Another excellent night for the Fordham forward from Lithuania. And Alexis Black, a 20-point performance tonight. The crown jewel of this Fordham offense, in double digits in every game so far. She follows up a career-high 30 with another 20-piece. Really, an excellent performance all around from this Fordham women's basketball game, or basketball team, rather. Their next game is coming up against Stony Brook right here in the Rose Hill Gym on November 12th, this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Once again, Fordham defeats St. Peter's 70-56 here in the Bronx. And for Brendan Shorey, I have been Tucker Austin. Now we send you back to the Rose Hill studio one more time for the one-on-one post-game report. Here are Griffin Stevenson and Sam Giangrande.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome into the one-on-one post-game report. The Fordham Rams defeat the St. Peter's Peacocks 70-56 in a outstanding second half performance. I'm Griffin Stevenson, joined by Sam Giangrande. Before we get started with this post-game coverage, we're going to kick it to Sam for a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The final score here in the Boogie Down Bronx, the Rams beat the St. Peter's Peacocks 70-56. Fordham having a record high 29 offensive rebounds, and Alexis Black shooting only gold in the last 2 quarters to bring the Rams to their second win of the season and their 6th win in a row against this Jersey City side. Light snowfall in upstate New York, Colgate beat New Hampshire 89-79. The Wildcats hungry during this match but could not get through the Raiders' defense. Over in the smallest state of Rhode Island, the game ended 105-49 against Emmanuel College in a horrible defeat for them. Now down in the Old Dominion state, George Mason are up 53-24 against Florida A&M at the half. The Patriots having a massive lead so far. Tomorrow in our country's capital, George Washington is playing Howard at 6 p.m. And up north in Pennsylvania, Lehigh plays LaSalle. Now for men's basketball, tomorrow the Wagner Seahawks will travel here to the Hill to take on the Fordham Rams. William and Mary will go against Richmond in Virginia, while up in Rhode Island they will play Stonehill. Yesterday in the Garden, Mike Brown's Knicks beat the Nets 134-98. The Knicks playing against the Grizzlies here in the Garden. Thursday we'll have the Jets play the Patriots in Foxborough, while the Packers will face the Giants at 1 p.m. on Sunday in the Meadowlands. I'm Sam Giangrani with the 1-on-1 scoreboard. A huge win for the Rams. New York rejoicing in the Rose Hill Gym. A little ... for you. And if you see our lovely mascot Ramses, make sure you give them a big high five to celebrate this win.
Welcome back to the one-on-one post-game report. As we mentioned, the Rams winning 70-56. And Sam, it seems like they really fixed all the problems we addressed at halftime, except for the free throw shooting. The free throw percentage actually got worse, but man, they dominated on the offensive rebounds. The most offensive rebounds in 29 that they've had since November 26th, 2003 against Dartmouth, where they had 30. So a historic night offensive rebounding-wise for this Fordham Rams team.
Maybe the coach listened into the half-game report to see what they should have fixed, because I think everything we mostly covered got fixed in those last two quarters, and a huge game for the Rams, getting 29 offensive rebounds, and then Alexis Black having a phenomenal last two quarters, shooting 20.
Yeah, no, they finally found – they got the ball to their playmakers, their scorers. Alexis Black, as you mentioned, went off 16 points in that second half. Just no response, capable for St. Peter's. Fordham was just dominating them, especially in the fourth quarter. It was still tied going into the fourth quarter, but Fordham outscored St. Peter's 20-6 in that final quarter of play. So just overall, strong team finish. They had 56 total rebounds. I mean, last year we saw they had a couple of 28 offensive rebounding games. That's the identity of this team, is that they just crash the offensive glass, and showing like they're picking up exactly where they left off from last season to start this one as they move to 2-1 on the year, but ended up being an exciting game.
I thought it was terrific, and you can definitely hear the Rose Hill Gym rejoicing during that last quarter. And even though the production on the side was incredible, you could not stop the absolute loudness and thrill going on in that gym. It was all you can hear is the sounds of the crowd.
Yeah, no, the crowd really got behind them as they started warm up. Just to highlight some stuff, we highlighted the bench points. Fordham's bench outscored St. Peter's 30-7. Fordham won the turnover battle. St. Peter's had 20. The Rams had 17. So still not that good. You don't want to have 17 turnovers a game, but still winning that turnover battle. And then we mentioned the offensive rebounds. Fordham 26 second chance points to St. Peter's 9. So, I mean, overall, a solid team performance. I just think now the issue for this team, or the question for Coach B and the team, is how do they do this not just in the fourth quarter, but for the whole four quarters? Because I think if they can replicate the fourth quarter production that they had tonight throughout the entire game, this team is going to be very hard to face up going into conference play.
I think that if Coach puts in a good amount of the rotation players, I think from our great talker, he said that each player who came on was able to score. I think if you're able to balance all these players and get a good amount of the bench players on and get a good rotation, it won't just be in the fourth quarter, but be throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and, I think still there is room for this team to develop. I think, obviously, three-point shooting is something that they could work on a little bit, but, again, 25% is not that good from three, which means they have room to improve. And if they can continue to improve, they're going to be amazing. I think, honestly, the loss of Taylor Donaldson obviously had a great career with the Rams, but she brought a lot of that offensive production, and so it's really good to see players like Black coming on and into this team and really stepping up and showing leadership in that this program is in good hands and continuing their now 6th in a row against St. Peter's.
Definitely. I think leadership is very important to bring to any team, and Alexis Black definitely shown that throughout the last two quarters, which was a huge factor to bring Fordham to win this game.
Yeah, 3 players in double-digit scoring for the Rams, better than St. Peter's 2. I think, like you mentioned, the rotation, everyone is able to score. Everyone scored, actually, that played for the Rams today. Even Vilovich, she had 1 point, but everyone got on the score sheet, which means, they say the team is almost only as strong as the weakest link. And so this Rams team is a pretty tight-knit chain, I would say.
Definitely. I think that the team chemistry was a huge factor to what led to this win. If you just compare the leaders on points for both teams, it's a lot more consistent in Fordham, while there was only a few leadaways when it came to St. Peter's, which, in my opinion, was a big factor for the win for the Rams.
Yeah, and lastly, we mentioned the production of Black. She actually, compared to the rest of the team, she shot 44% from 3. So, to that end, great production from your number one scoring option on this team. But overall, I think a great win, a great way to end it. I think it's always better momentum-wise if you finish the game strong, going and building off of this win, because Fordham, as we take a look ahead to their schedule, played St. Peter's tonight. They host Stony Brook in 2 days, and then they go on the road to Buffalo and Seton Hall. So Seton Hall is definitely going to be a tough matchup, but like to see build from this win, continue crashing the glass offensively, getting the ball in the hands of their scorers, and keeping that rotation solid. But overall, a great win for the Fordham Rams. That'll do it for our one-on-one post-game report. I've been Griffin Stevenson, joined by Sam Giagrande. Huge thank you to Owen Kelty producing Behind the Glass. Thank you to our awesome broadcasters, Tucker Austin and Brendan Shorey. A huge thank you to our sports director, Bobby Chaffardini. Fordham Women's Basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.